Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. It feels like only a few days ago we were doing exactly this, and that's because we was. But hopefully this stream is slightly less stressful than the previous one because obviously we were on free hit. There were loads of possible combinations and options we could have gone for. I've already made my transfer because there was a surprise price change last night. If you saw, like during the day, Ismail Assar was nowhere near a price fall. I checked at 9 PM. He was nowhere near. And then just before I went to sleep, young FPL Pickle said to me, Ross, have you seen Ismail Assar is falling in price? And I was like, no. So thank God for Pickle, because he was. I mean, I would have only lost 0.1. But anyway, all of that to say, I made my transfer last night. I sold Ismail Assar for Bruno Fernandes. I think the only thing for me to work out on this stream is, do I captain Bruno or do I captain Haaland? I suppose Saka is an option, but I think I've narrowed it down to Bruno or Haaland. I'm obviously wearing a Man United top. Maybe that tells you which way I'm leaning. But I'm like, if it is a genuine 50-50, why not back the midfielder who gets the extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet, the player playing later in the game week, and also the player playing for my team? I get to either double win or double pain, probably. Like, I genuinely think Bruno versus Haaland is super close. So, like, if you don't fancy it or you don't want to go for Mbermo, Saka, Bruno, and you're just feeling Haaland, that's absolutely fine. I also think I'd rather, more often than not, back the lower-owned captain. And obviously, Haaland will always be higher-owned than someone like Bruno. So that's where I'm at right now. But I don't think that it's a clear option at all. In fact, like, objectively, I think probably Haaland is a better captain than Bruno Fernandes. There is a captaincy poll in the chat, nice and early, by the way. So if you want to vote on who you are captaining, I've got Haaland, Bruno / Mbermo, basically Man United mid. If you're captain Cunha or something like that, vote for that one. And then also Saka, and then other as well. I don't mind a captain on someone like Munoz. I know a lot of people are looking at Semenyo, Gakpo, Foden. There are some fun picks out there. But I think for me, Man United mid or Haaland feels good. Right, Josh. Hi, Ross. I'm so torn on what to do this week. 2 free transfers. Sarr to Minter and get Bruno next week by downgrading Pope. I like that. Or Sarr / Semenyo to Bruno / Anderson now. Oh, you'd have to sell Sarr and Semenyo to Bruno / Anderson. Okay, Josh, if you're going to captain... If you would captain Bruno, if you think buying Bruno is the best captain this week, I would go for selling Sarr and Semenyo now for Bruno and Anderson. If you wouldn't captain Bruno and you're just buying him because you think he's good, maybe just do Sarr to Minter and then fund Bruno by downgrading Pope next week. Because I don't love selling Semenyo this week, but if you're doing it to get who you think is the best captain, then I can understand it. Hi, Ross. Is De Cowper a viable option again? Maybe. Like, Brighton have improved massively defensively. We've seen he does have some attacking output. I wonder if I would still just go for Van Hecker for a cheap player with good, or average at least, DEFCON, still gets the clean sheets. Like, maybe. I mean, Brighton fans, is De Cowper, however you want to pronounce it, is he nailed on, like fully nailed on? If he is, then maybe, for sure. Would you start Chow or Dewsbury Hall this week? I would start Dewsbury Hall, I think. Chow's great, good attacking threat. Newcastle were great at home, but I still would back Spurs to score in that game, so I think I would start Dewsbury Hall. Yibbing says, hi Ross, my 8 attackers are Anderson, Minter, Mbermo, Fernandes, Semenyo, Haaland, Thiago, Mateta. Who do I bench? I think you bench Thiago. Like, Minter and Anderson are probably like the 2 that you'd normally choose between, but with Thiago playing Arsenal away, I know Thiago's been great, and I know he's got lots of goals, and they get penalties, and I normally wouldn't like benching a penalty taker, but I don't think you can bench any of those other players there, so yeah, it would be Thiago for me. Ishan says, -4 to sell Senesi and Sarr, or just Sarr and start Rodon. I've got a similar decision myself, and I'm choosing not to take the hit, so I would say just about I would lean to say, just start Rodon. Because, like, let's look at it. We probably expect Rodon and Anderson to probably concede 2+ goals and maybe get DEFCON, right? Especially Anderson, but Rodon maybe. So, let's say Rodon and Anderson get 3 points. Could be less, could be more. You then need the player that you're bringing in, if you're taking a -4 hit to sell Senesi and play someone else instead, you need them to score 7 points-ish to just pay back the hit. There aren't that many defenders that I would feel that confident in. Maybe if it was someone like Munoz, but even so, like 7 points is still a big score. We're talking about at least a clean sheet and some DEFCON or bonus, or an attacking return, and maybe bonus again. It's quite a lot. Like, think about Nico O'Reilly last week, got an assist, was very close to DEFCON, but still only come away with 4 points. So I would usually say no to taking a hit for a defender. Shazam, thank you for the big boy super chat. It's very kind of you. Afternoon, Ross. Hope you are well. 3 free... I'm well, thank you, by the way. I hope you are too. 3 free transfers. Done Sar to Rice. I like it. Would you do Senesi to O'Reilly and play him or play Timber, VVD and Richards with Rodon first bench? With the rumours of Richards not playing. Yeah, there have been suggestions that Richards could be rested. Then bench Thiago or Njai. I don't think you need to. I still think I would back Richards to start personally, and I don't think you can bench him even if there are rumours. So, no, I wouldn't sell Senesi because I think Timber, Van Dijk and Richards are fine. Who would I bench out of Thiago and Njai? I think you've got to start Njai. They're slightly better fixture. Both penalty takers. Both open play. Don't have as much attacking threat as you'd likely want. So yeah, I would say no to the defender transfer and I would start Njai. Hopefully that helps and thank you for the support as always, mate. Hello, Ross. Great content. Thank you, Lee. I've just used my free hit, but still have the wildcard, triple captain, and bench boost. Wow. Where would you recommend using them now? So I think 17 looks quite good for both triple captain and bench boost. So one of triple captain or bench boost in 17. If your bench doesn't look good, triple captain. If your bench does look good, then bench boost. And then I think triple captain also looks good in 16 on someone like Saka or Palmer. So I would use triple captain and bench boost in 16 and 17, which probably means you're looking at wildcard in 15, or this week, but probably 15. So I would probably go wildcard and then triple captain, bench boost, or switch them around. I don't know about 18, 19 without looking at your team, but I would probably play them in 15, 16, 17 personally. And in fact, maybe bench boost 16 if you can set yourself up for it with a wildcard in 15. The other option you've got is wildcarding after the bench boost. So if your bench already looks good and you've got 15 good players, bench boost and then wildcard out of it. It really depends on your team, Lee, but those would be the weeks that I was looking at. It's a great position to be in, by the way, with 3 chips. Hi, Ross. Bench 1 of Mateta, Anderson, and Jai Semenyo. Wow. I would probably go Illiman and... Oh, is that Forrest Anderson? I assume you mean Forrest Anderson, but you've spelt it like the Fulham Anderson. If it's Forrest Anderson, I would bench Njai. If it's Fulham Anderson, then I would just bench Fulham Anderson. Hopefully that makes sense. Ross, congrats on the free hit. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. Starting a support group for anyone else who was 50-50 on Foden, Dango, and Doku Sharda, but ultimately went for the latter. That is tough. That is very... Oh, Foden, Dango versus Doku Sharda. That's a huge swing. Yeah, it was one of the swingiest weeks I've ever seen, even on a free hit. Like, free hits are normally quite swingy, but even so, it was really, really swingy. If you remember, on the deadline stream, I was choosing between Kelleher, Munoz, Sarr versus Martinez, Vandenberg, Gakpo, which I think was like 21 points or something between the two. Like, that was a 50-50. If you remember the poll for the entire stream was literally like 51-49 going back and forth. And it was an over 20-point swing. Like, it was just a ridiculous week. So if you was on the right side of it, great. If you weren't, then just accept that it was a lot of variance. I have both Bruno and Mbermo, best captain and why. I'd always lean Bruno because his minutes are usually better. He's on set pieces as well as Mbermo. On penalties, has DEFCON, assist threat, goal threat. He just has more routes to points. But from open play, Mbermo's the bigger threat than Bruno. Easy Gaming says, my beautiful baby hippo. I guess because I'm a baby, I'll take it. I won't want to be a full-grown hippo. Do I take a hit and take out Sarr or just play Thiago? If it's for a hit, I would just play Thiago, unless you can get to someone that you think is like a worthy captain. Again, like a Bruno Fernandes or something like that. I've also got Timber and Cauliflower benching Fear, hiding at work. I think both Calafiori and Timber probably start. Calafiori would worry me a bit more, but he only played 45 minutes in Game Week 13. Timber, I do think, will start. So I think you're okay. I would probably just play Thiago, and thank you for the support, even at work. CPFC, Crystal Palace FC. Senesi to Munoz for a -4 hit. Is it worth it? I only have Richards and Thiago starting with only Rodon as the bench. But if I do that, then do I bench Richards or Thiago? So do you think Munoz is 4 points better than Thiago? I think Munoz is one of the few defenders I wouldn't mind taking a hit for, especially if you are a Crystal Palace fan, which it looks like you are based on the name. So maybe Senesi to Munoz and bench Thiago. I don't mind buying Munoz for a -4 hit. Richard says, hi, Ross. I'm thinking Senesi and Sarr to Esteve and Bruno -4. Okay. Still have Verge, Richards, Timber defense. Other option is no hit, Sarr to Gakpo, or up to 8.1 million. I'll give you the same answer I've given a lot of other people that are looking at taking a -4 hit. If you're going to captain Bruno, take the hit. If you're not, just buy someone like Minter, Gakpo, whoever you want to look at. I like Gakpo, but I'd probably just go Minter at that stage. But yeah, if you're going to captain Bruno, then it's probably worth taking the hit for him. Roger says, hello, Ross. 3 free transfers and want to replace Gabriel Caicedo Sarr. Exact funds, 1. Munoz, Dewsbury Hall, Bruno. 2, 0.3 in the bank, O'Reilly, Anderson, Bruno. Okay, cheap mid will be benched. 3, something else. Thanks. I really like Munoz, KDH, Bruno. I think I would go for that one. I also really like O'Reilly and Anderson, but Munoz, Dewsbury Hall, and Bruno stood out to me. So, like, sometimes when something's the exact funds, Roger, it just feels right as well. So yeah, I think I would go for number 1, but I really like 2. I can't think of a better way to spend the money than what you've listed there. So I think both of those options are really nice. And thank you for the super chat as well. Fahad says, Senesi to Van Hecker. Okay, Sarr to Anderson from -4 to afford Enzo to Saka for free next week. I like the thinking ahead, actually. Do you know what? Van Hecker and Anderson are both nice picks. I don't mind that. The other option you've got is just doing Sarr to Anderson, not doing Senesi to Van Hecker and playing whoever your backup defender is. So I like Sarr to Anderson. Unless you have to do Senesi to Van Hecker, I wouldn't do it. If you've got someone like Anderson or Rodon that you can play instead, I'd probably just play them. The thing is, with DEFCON now, let's say Rodon concedes 3 goals but gets DEFCON. Then immediately, he's got 3 points there unless he gets booked. So again, taking a -4 hit for a defender, you need them to not only get a clean sheet, but also bonus DEFCON or an attacking return, just to even pay the hit back, let alone massively outscore them. So yeah, I think in most cases, that's why I'm happy just playing Anderson. I do not think for a second Anderson keeps a clean sheet. But I think he'll get DEFCON. So I'm hoping that he doesn't concede more than 3 goals, and then he'll get me a 3-pointer without the booking. Hi Ross, Pope to Sells or Senesi to Chow or Richards? Pope to Sells. Yep. Senesi to Chow or Richards. I would probably go, at this stage, I'd probably go Chow. Pope to Sells, Senesi to Chow. If that's for free, yeah, I like it. Nicola says, can just do Gabriel to VVD and field a solid team, but unsure Eze starts and tempted to do Gabby and Sarr to Van Hecker and Bruno. Thoughts? Guts says Anderson captain. Same again, I would only take a hit for Bruno if you think he's the best captain this week, otherwise probably not worth it. I think Eze will start, if you want my opinion. I don't know that by any means, but I would lean towards saying he'll start. If your gut says Anderson captain, then Captain Anderson. His floor is so high. That's almost a guaranteed 4-pointer every week. If you've not seen, by the way, I have to show you because it's remarkable. Look at... Where am I? There you go. Couldn't see where the things were. Look at Anderson's DEFCON. No, that's... No. Select replacement. Look at this. DEFCON. It's bonkers. So he's averaging 13.46. So this season, Anderson has 11, 11, 11, 15, 15, 16, 10, 12, 11, 16, 13, 16, 18. Anderson's lowest DEFCON this season is 10, which he's only hit once, then a few 11s, and then every other week he's hit it. He's not had less than 10 DEFCON in a single game. Like, Anderson is almost starting on a 4-point floor, which is crazy. So for captaincy, it's not bad. He is very cheap, though, so it does feel weird captaining a player like that, doesn't it? Hi, Ross. Murphy or Elanga? Neither. I would go Bruno G at that stage if you can afford him. I don't like Murphy or Elanga. Bruno G would be my... I mean, you could go Barnes, but I think Barnes could even be rested. Bruno G would be my attacker of choice for Newcastle, other than, obviously, Voltemada. What would you do with Salah, Welbeck? Do they start? I think yes to both, I would say, is my prediction, but I don't know that. Salah, I would feel more confident than Welbeck, but you never know. I mean, if you don't have Bruno or Saka and you would captain them if you brought them in, maybe go there. Otherwise, I'll just keep Salah, probably for one more week. Reece James to O'Reilly or Senesi to Chow? I think probably Reece James to O'Reilly, or even Reece James to Chow, by the way. Like, I think Senesi is a fine long-term hold, considering he's DEFCON and attacking threat. Why are you not selling Senesi? Because I have no free transfers left, and I just don't think it's worth a hit for any defender this week. For the reasons I've listed. If I think Anderson can get me 3 points, I don't know any defenders that I can get in one transfer that will get me 7+. Rory says, in a head-to-head league, Manchester United players are already differential. Go safe with HAALAND cap or double down. I would ignore the league you're in. I would ignore safe and different. I would just go for the player you think will get the most points. If you think that is HAALAND, go HAALAND. If you think it's Bruno and Burma, go them. I think it's very close. I do like captaining midfielders. Like, if Bruno was a forward in FPL somehow, then I would probably go HAALAND. But there's something I love about putting the armband on a midfielder. Like, we saw it with Gakpo and Foden last week. Gakpo and Foden last week got a goal and an assist, and also 2 goals, and they got 14 and 15. Obviously, if a forward gets a brace, they only get 13. So there just feels like there's a little bit higher upside with the midfielders. Ross, currently 1.2 million. Is top 100k still possible? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. You're barely that far off. I went from 1.8 million to 700k in 1 week. And obviously it was a very lucky week, and it could go the other way this week. But you can make pretty big jumps still quite easily. Like 1 point is like 30k at this rank. So yes, definitely. Julian says, have Bruno, Semenyo, Saka and Anderson. Looks great to me. I have and want to sub Reinders. I have 7 million, but it means a -4. What are your thoughts? I mean, Reinders probably doesn't start, if I had to guess. The thing is, if Reinders does start, then he's fine for this week. But maybe you go to Minter. Maybe Reinders to Minter is a transfer that has upside. I don't mind that. I would be slightly tempted, yeah, unless you've got someone else that you can start instead. Like, could you start in a 3-4-3 or a 4-4-2? Who is the best Pope replacement? If you can't get Raya, maybe Sells or Verbruggen. Just go all the way down to Verbruggen. I think I'd be on Sells or Verbruggen if I was making a goalkeeper transfer this week. I've eaten pickles 3 times this week. Each time reminded me of one of my favourite couples. Who needs FPL reminders when you have pickles in the fridge? Pickles are great. I mean, pickles are elite. I do not understand when people get burgers and they take the pickles out. I always add extra pickles if it's an option. If I'm in a restaurant and it's got pickles, I'll ask for extra pickles. Pickles are so good in a burger. Or just in anything, to be honest. Hi, Ross. Would you start Burn or João Pedro? I would start João Pedro 100%. Do you think Saka starts? I do. Yeah, I do. If I had to guess. Not that my guesses are always accurate, to be fair. Is it worth free hitting just for Man United assets? No. But if your team doesn't have United assets and maybe has 2 or 3 weak players, then yeah, it might be worth it. The thing is, you're never going to have a week, really, unless loads goes wrong in a single week where you need the free hit. So if you really want United assets and your team's also a bit weak elsewhere, then maybe just play it. Just make sure you're picking nailed assets. Like the main reason to pick the free hit this week, or to use the free hit this week, is not to take risks. It's to pick players that you know will start. So Bruno Fernandes, Brian Mbeumo, players like Semenyo, Iliman Ndiaye. Like, I'm not just listing my team, of course, but these are players that you know will start. Maybe take out rotation risks. Like Richards would be a good example of a player that I wouldn't go for on a free hit. I don't mind a free hit this week. What do you think about Alisson? Alisson Becker, like, I actually like him as a goalkeeper option, but he's so injury prone. Like, he genuinely gets injured every single season, sometimes multiple times a season. So I just don't, I don't know that I would go for him for that reason. Also, doesn't make tons of saves. Like, Van Dijk is a much better asset than Alisson because he's good in the air and he gets DEFCON. Joseph says, what's up, man? Got the team set with Haaland cap as running a mad fever, so straight to bed for me after work. May end up sleeping through the games. I hope you feel better soon. And yeah, do you know what? Haaland is getting to a point now this week where he's almost amongst engaged managers going to be a slight differential captain. Like, let's actually have a look at the poll right now. 58% are captaining Haaland. Just over a half, which is quite low considering how good he is. So he is still going to be the most popular captain, but you will gain a little bit if you captain Haaland. Hi, start Alderete or Goodmanson, or a -4 to sell Senesi. I would probably just start... I'd probably just start Goodmanson, home fixture. Leeds can be very good at Ellen Road. Martin says, Senesi and Enzo for Timber and Anderson. So you'd sell Senesi and Enzo to Timber and Anderson. Don't like losing Enzo, but think it makes the team stronger. I guess you're going to have to use the transfers anyway. I do think Timber and Anderson is a much better combo than Senesi and Enzo. And I do think Enzo's time is coming to an end. I quite like that, actually, Martin. I'd be willing to do that. Like, normally I would say, no, just roll your transfers. You don't need to do that. But we're going to have to use the transfers in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. Just as a reminder for those that don't know, by the way, we get topped up to 5 free transfers between 15 and 16. So you might as well use them. And also, for those that haven't done so, can you drop a like on the stream? We're on 1,500 people watching, but only 120 likes. Which means basically everyone watching right now hasn't liked. So please hit a like button and also subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hugo says, top 15k, went for Salah on wildcard last week as a big gamble. Yep, that's fair. Would I have wildcarded him? Maybe not, but I picked him on free hit. Would you keep or bring in Bruno/Saka? Also tempted by Captain Munoz. I would be tempted to keep Salah one more week. But if you would captain Bruno or Saka, then maybe just bring them in. And also that gives you the money to then use elsewhere soon. But I'd be tempted at home off the back of a benching. Like, you could imagine Salah turning up right now. I also don't think it's out of the question that he gets benched again. So maybe it's worth doing. Captain Munoz, I don't mind, actually. One of the few weeks where I actually don't mind a defensive captain. Khan, thank you for the super chats. Can you give me your team? Is Senesi Njai to Chow Anderson worth it? Any other suggestions? Senesi Njai to Chow Anderson. Yeah, I quite like that, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. Again, I do like Iliman Njai, and he's going to probably start, and he could return, but it's not the easiest fixture. I prefer Anderson, and again, you're going to have to use your transfers. So, yes, I have no issue with that. Would I change anything there? I mean, have you got your triple Arsenal already? Don't think you do. I would be tempted by Timber if you can afford him. Chow's 4.9, Timber. Actually, you can't afford Timber, can you? That's a shame. Yeah, so maybe then. Maybe Chow and Anderson's fine. Taster 15 says, hey, Raptor. Love your content. Worth taking a -4 hit. Money is tight, so I can only afford Senesi and Reinders to Richards and Anderson, or Lacroix and Dewsbury Hall. I like Senesi and Anderson. Sorry, Senesi and Reinders to Richards and Anderson. Just bear in mind that this midweek, Richards isn't definitely going to start. But I think longer term, I think Richards and Anderson is a slightly, like marginally better combination than Lacroix and Dewsbury Hall. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Matthew has been a member for 49 months. Crazy stuff, Matthew. Over 4 years, but there was no message attached to your members' highlight thing. I forgot what they're called. Taylor, been a member for 4 months, says, if you didn't own Richards, would you rather have O'Reilly and Semenyo with no bench cover till 16, or have O'Reilly and Minter with Anderson first sub? I think O'Reilly and Minter with Anderson first sub sounds good to me. Already own Bruno. What's your thoughts on a short-term Ahmad punt? I mean, it is very short-term. He's not fully nailed on to start every game, and he's not that attacking. Like, a lot of models and algorithms like Ahmad, but I'm not that keen. Yeah, I'm going to say no, but I also don't hate it. Again, the fixtures are there to attack. As a pessimistic Spurs fan, seriously tempted by Walter captain. Spurs are very hit and miss. Like, they're not a bad team. Thomas Frank's not a bad manager, but yeah, recently been rough. Did your study over the summer in Nottingham? Can you rate my wildcard? Of course, my friend. I obviously don't know who you are because I can't see your actual name, but thank you for doing that. I've got your team. Can I rate it? Is there anything I would change on a wildcard? It's a lovely team, actually. For Bruggen, Van Hecker, Metcher, Anderson. Not really. I mean, do you need that much money invested in your goalkeepers? If you've got Rai, you probably don't need Verbruggen. I like Foden, Gakpo, Rice, Fernandez. I mean, I would probably want Saka, probably instead of one of Foden or Gakpo, and then I'd find the funds elsewhere. But I mean, the defense looks great. It's a really nice wildcard, mate. No major criticism for me. What do you guys think of the midweek deadlines? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I mean, everyone watching right now either works from home or is being very naughty listening to me. Well, let me know what you're doing right now. Or you're in a different time zone. Is anyone being naughty with a headphone in at work listening to this in the background? Already owned... I did that one. Still stuck with Reinders. Should I transfer him for Anderson or just keep and start? I would just sell for Anderson. Absolutely. Even if Reinders starts, Anderson's better. Working from home. I'm on the toilet. Love the midweek deadlines. Love midweek football. I'm being naughty. That's funny. In Australia, at work. I am listening to you at work. That's funny. Listening to you at uni. Go focus on your lectures. I'm in a business meeting whilst listening to this. It's terrible. In the US. Big love. Big love to everyone in different time zones. Watching you from India while taking a bath. That is a bit saucy. One headphone in at work. My boss is yelling at my colleague right next to me. Don't tell him you're listening to me. In the gym. I don't know how you listen to me in the gym. Surely you need some, like, heavy music to get good. Maybe my voice is doing it for you. That sounds a bit wrong. From Finland, so this is a good evening watching. What's the time in it? Oh, I guess it's 1 hour ahead. Maybe 2 hours ahead. I'm in Kenya and at work. Listening to you whilst cooking. Very nice, Shazam. Shazam, what are you cooking? Would you -4 for Caicedo to Minter and Semenyo to Bruno? If you're going to captain Bruno, yeah, I'd be tempted, Alex. I'd be tempted. Me and Shazam are head chefs. Claudette says, I take the fifth. I love how many people are being naughty at work. Right. You're 2 hours ahead in Finland. Fair, fair, fair. In my office in Norway, listening from South Africa. Look at everyone all over the gaff. In London, working for the NHS. Don't prioritise FPL ahead of the patients. Sim is cooking paprika wedges, breaded cod and sweet corn. No peas in the freezer. That's a disaster. I am under your desk. Hopefully not. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm a bit hungry.
You can order yourself something if you want. Hello, Captain Raptor. Love that you had a great game week. I had a rough one. Thank you, and I'm sorry you did. Who'd have guessed Caicedo would get a red and 1 point between Gay and Munoz? Like I say, I was so close to going for Kelleher, Munoz, and Sarr, which would have got me 4 points, that combo. So it was big swings. Now trying to fix the mess for this game week. Yep, hopefully you bounce back. Would you mind if I did that? Samir has become a Raptor 1 member. Thank you very much, Samir. I appreciate that. Dennis, saved my free hit and rolled last week. 51 points without the free hit. That's very good. Okay, I've got your team for this week. Did Gabriel to Chab. Chalaba. Should I do anything else at -4? Nothing stands out to me, my friend. I don't think I would take it. No, your team looks really good, actually. And Burmo, Gakpo, Semenyo, Dewsbury Hall, Rice. Got some great... No, I think you're fine, Dennis. Don't take a -4 this week. Thornfield says, given fixtures, would you take a -4 to go Enzo and Rogers to Bruno and Anderson? Enzo and Rogers to Bruno, Cap, and Anderson. Yeah, if you're going to captain Bruno, I don't hate it. The rest of your midfield looks really solid. Watching in my PJs at home, by the way. That is the vibe we want here. Yeah, no, I would probably do it if you're going to captain Bruno. Basically, I would only take a hit this week if you're not happy with your backup options that could play instead. You're going to captain one of the players that you bring in, or you just think the player that you're bringing in has really high upside, then I wouldn't mind taking it. Otherwise, I would avoid. APAC, I've got your team. What are target players for future games with 0 free transfers and 0 in the bank? So, I mean, looking at your team, it's a goalkeeper. So I think Sells, Verbruggen, even Kelleher, by the way, from 16 onwards looks okay. Other players for your team, mate, your team's looking great. Probably Thiago. I would say Mateta to Thiago in 16 and probably Pope to another goalkeeper. That should be your priority. But, I mean, your team's looking fantastic. You should be fine for the time being. Matthew says, best Gabriel replacement, Bruno or Saka? I think still Bruno, probably just about. I have Mbermo and Timber, 2 free transfers. Love the content, brother. Best Gabriel, Bruno. So best Gabriel replacement, if not Timber, is probably Munoz. If not Munoz, it's probably honestly Van Dijk, I would still go for. Or you drop down to like an O'Reilly or Chow. I would say Bruno rather than Saka. And I think that answers your questions, hopefully. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Start Alderete or take a -4 hit to buy Chow. I would just start Alderete, personally. Thor says, off to said budget meeting. Final dilemma. Bruno to captain for a hit for either Doku, Enzo, or Soboslai, or Haaland cap, no hit, and protect my 90k rank. I probably would just captain Haaland. If I was going to sell one of Doku, Enzo, or Soboslai, I'd sell Doku. Would I sell Doku to Bruno for a -4? Probably not. I would probably just cap Haaland and hope that Bruno blanks, which is a definite possibility. Start Mukiele or -4 Senesi to Timber, Munoz, O'Reilly. I would just start Mukiele. Any defender that has a good chance for DEFCON, I would just start them instead of taking a hit. Unless you are buying Munoz and you think Munoz has really high upside. What are the odds of Cunha starting? I think quite good. Apparently it was just concussion protocol, which ended a few days ago. So he's been in training. If it was just concussion, you'd imagine he's fit. And he's so important to us. I would imagine, especially given it's another couple of days, I reckon Cunha probably starts. What about Bob Sanchez for Pope? Yeah, I quite like Bob Sanchez for Pope. Another player that I will think about for sure. Got your exact team, bar Tarkovsky and Stack for Richards and Enzo. Still got bench boost and triple captain. Very nice. Are you just playing Rodon if Richards is out? I don't think Richards will be out. I think he'll be on the bench. And he'll probably come on if he is benched. But yes, Rodon will come on worst case. It's not great, man. I'm going to have to Bravka, possibly Rodon and Anderson. But I only have the one free transfer and I just don't think it is worth the hit, personally. Hi, Ross. Late in. How are you? I'm good, thank you, Lukey boy. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Ross. I was so close with -4, but your logic stopped me. I mean, listen, mate, if the -4 makes sense to you, hits do pay off. Like, if you bring in a player that scores like 15 points for a hit, like if you'd have taken a hit for Gakpo or Foden last week, it would have worked out brilliantly. So don't be afraid to take hits. But I think especially with defenders, it just never feels quite right. Unless you're going and getting like let's say it wasn't a midweek and let's say Timber had Burnley. Like, yeah, an Arsenal defender ahead of that fixture with a good turnaround would be an obvious transfer, even for a hit. But I just don't know that anyone this week is massively. It's going to be chaos, man. There's probably going to be players rested that you wouldn't have imagined. I'm hoping that Krupi starts if I need him. That's why I've moved him to first sub, because I think there's a chance he does. Hi, Ross. I have a feeling on Casemiro for Sarr. I'm not there, personally. Like, Casemiro, when he starts, is great for DevCon, and he can get attacking returns, but I wouldn't be transferring him, really. And also, he's old. Is he going to play every minute? I don't think so. Does love a yellow card and red card as well, does Casemiro. Super Duper has been a member for 29 months. Thank you, my friend. Hi, Ross. Free hit. Soboslai versus Cherky versus Ahmad versus Bruno G. I would probably say Soboslai, then Ahmad, then Bruno G, then Cherky would be my options. It was Semenyo for Bruno and Enzo for Anderson. Semenyo for Bruno, Enzo for... Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I answered that one. Yeah, I still think that's borderline. If you're going to captain Bruno, then yeah. If not, then no. Where does the rumours that Richard's bench coming from? There's just suggestions from Palace fans that he'll be rested. And in a lot of the European games and midweek games this season, Richards has been rested. So I do think there is a chance. Semenyo or Bruno, captain? Surely Semenyo hauls. I think Semenyo could do well. I don't think surely he hauls. I think he's a fine captain. I've not really considered him, though. Surely just start Rodon then for DEFCON if you think Richards is benched. I don't think Richards is benched. I'm just saying it is a possibility. But I'm starting him because if he's not, he's much better than Rodon. So I think it's worth the risk. Because I do think that they keep a clean sheet probably against Palace. Against Burnley, sorry. Foden or Gakpo for a 2-week punt? I would lean Phil Foden. I think he's playing better at the moment. I know Gakpo also hauled, but I think up to the point of where he scored, there were lots of Liverpool fans saying he shouldn't still be on the pitch. He's been playing terribly. Like, Liverpool fans were really angry that Gakpo started. And I know fans don't pick the team. And I'd say often fans are wrong. But if he's not playing well, there is a chance he's benched. Whereas Foden is playing so well right now, it would be, I think, strange to bench him. Shazam says, member for 27 months, by the way. Thank you, my friend. Dilemma time. Need chat's help. Do prawns belong in jambalaya? I saw my kids say... I say yes, my kids say no. Do prawns belong in jambalaya? Is it bad? Jambalaya. Let me say this. When I Google jambalaya, loads of dishes with prawns come up. So I would have to say yes, Shazam, based on that. That looks unbelievable. Is it like a paella? A paella. Looks very nice. Is a savory rice dish that is developed in the US state of Louisiana, fusing together African, Spanish, and French influences. Looks like prawns do belong, I would say. Is that what you said, or is that what your kids said? I say yes, my kids say no. Then yes, Shazam, I think you're correct. Tell them Ross said yes. What is the captaincy poll saying right now? As of right now, still 58% on Haaland, 31% on Bruno or Mbeumo, 6% on Saka, and then 5% elsewhere. So it does look like people are probably largely going for Bruno or Man United mid or Haaland, which makes sense. Hi, Senesi suspended, so I have Van Dijk, Van der Ven, I assume, Rodon and Anderson. Who to start or buy a defender? By the way, saw you get on my train Wednesday, but missed a chance to say hi. Wednesday? Think I was going to Nottingham. Was I in Nottingham Wednesday? I don't think where I was last Wednesday. Yeah, probably. I was probably going to Nottingham or coming back from Nottingham when you saw me. Say hello. If anyone sees me in real life, please do say hello. Anyway, Van Dijk, Van der Ven, Rodon and Anderson. So I would probably bench from those options Rodon. Probably bench Rodon, yeah. I would use a transfer, though, absolutely, if you've got a free transfer. If you do, I think Senesi to Chow or Senesi to O'Reilly. Of course, if you can get Senesi to Timber, then absolutely. If it's for a hit, I wouldn't make the transfer. Hi, Ross. About to confirm 5 transfers. 1 is a -4, perfect funds. Thoughts? Pope to Verbruggen, Senesi to Lacroix, Sarr to Minter, Semenyo to Bruno, Longstaff to Anderson. I mean, the transfers are so amazing. I'm just going to say yes. Do it. Take the -4. I've never seen such a beautiful set of transfers in my life. Let's get it done. Got 7 million. Who do you think I'd bring in for Sarr? I still think Anderson and Minter, even though they're not pushing the budget, but I don't think you need to. So yeah, I think Anderson or Minter, whoever you prefer. Start Joachim Anderson or Michael Keane. I'd go Michael Keane probably. Stefan says, got 3 free transfers, 0 in the bank. Raya, okay, I've got your team. Hold my free transfers, question mark? Well, I mean, if you hold them, it means you have to use 4 next week. So to remind you, between 15 and 16, you get your free transfers topped up to 5. So there is no point. In fact, you're essentially burning transfers if you don't make them before the Game Week 15 deadline. So if you roll, Stefan, you're going to have to use 4 free transfers next week, which is fine. But I would probably just use 1 this week. I would probably sell Senesi. Who could you sell Senesi for that would be good this week? You've got no money in the bank. I mean, that is tough. There's no one that really stands out. Maybe like Trufer or Van Hecker or something like that. Is there anything else you could do? The thing is, I suppose with no money in the bank, it is tough. Yeah, I would probably sell Senesi, but if you don't, just know that you've got to use your 4 free transfers next week, basically. Blackfinch says, hi Ross, help a fellow out. Okay, I've got your team. 0 in the bank, 4 free transfers. Okay, I think Pedro Porro, probably out, is one that makes sense. And I would probably downgrade to free up some funds. So Pedro Porro down, frees up the funds to upgrade Ryan. Actually, you can do Reinders to Anderson. Okay, sell Porro for Chow or O'Reilly. Sell Reinders for Anderson. And then maybe sell Pedro for Waltemada if you feel like you want to make another transfer. But definitely, I think Porro and Reinders out are the 2 that make the most sense there. Again, make sure that you're using your transfers by the Game Week 15 deadline. Free hitting. Okay. Sells Munoz, Delict, Mosquera, Fernandez, Mbeumo, Anderson, Salah, Mateta, Haaland. Nketiah. Any changes, don't mind being risky. Yeah, I get the Nketiah idea there. Like, you think he might start either instead of Sarr or maybe small chance instead of Mateta. But yeah, likely in Sarr's position. I will just say that's not a definite. He might be on the bench and then come on for Mateta around the 60th. Is there anyone I think you're missing there? I think having no Arsenal attackers doesn't feel great and only 1 Arsenal defender. Like, I feel like Arsenal against Brentford at home is a fixture to target. So I would either go for a second Arsenal defender or I would try and get, even if it's Declan Rice or something like that in. Otherwise, I think it's good. Yeah, I think that's a nice free hit. Evening, Ross. Is the FPL site down for anyone? It's not loading anything for me. It looks good for me at the moment. Is anyone else having problems? Maybe just try on a different device, try the app, log out, log in, you know, the classic stuff. I've not seen anyone else complain, but that doesn't mean that there's not an issue, you know. Just click my back, sorry. Really struggling if I should buy Gakpo or Minter. I mean, do you need the money for the future? If not, maybe take the punt on Gakpo. Gakpo's more short-term, of course. Like, Yankuba Minter's a great long-term hold. I think they're both great, though. I don't think you can go horribly wrong with either. Lewis says Pope, Sarr, Calvert-Lewin to Verbruggen, Anderson, Voltemada. Yeah, easy. Easy 3 transfers. Massive upgrades. You're not having to take a hit. Get it done. Would you not play Krupi? I wouldn't mind playing him this week. I think he will at least get like 20 mins. But who are you starting? If like your team looks like mine, there's no one to really start Krupi instead of. I'm just happy to have him as a sub if I need him. He might come on, you know? There is a chance that someone does miss out like altogether. Pope out for 6 weeks. Yeah, that's the suggestion, or at least for a few weeks. Which is, yeah, he's a sell if you have the free transfers. Like, I don't have the free transfers. Is the 5 transfer top up in 15 or 16? So it's between the two. So after the Game Week 15 deadline, which means going into Game Week 16, when we're doing Game Week 16 team selection and picking our teams for Game Week 16, you have 5 free transfers available to you. We've also had confirmation that the Premier League players will be leaving on the 15th of December for AFCON. So if you've not seen that, that is right here. It's in between 16 and 17. So basically, you will have most anyway. There might be a couple of exemptions, but you'll have most of your AFCON players for Game Week 16, and then you'll lose them ahead of Game Week 17 because there is a week dead break there. So basically, 3 more weeks with the likes of Mbermo and Jai, Salah maybe. I mean, you probably don't have many AFCON players. For me, I've just got Illyman the Skilly Man, who I hope will do something across the next 2. I'll probably sell him in Game Week 16. I would have probably sold him anyway, or been tempted ahead of those 2 games. Ashley says, "Hey Ross, sorry I'm late. Lost all my lights in the downstairs of my house. Waiting for the electrician with you lighting up the room on my telly." I'm sorry to hear that. I shouldn't be laughing. At least I'm wearing a white t-shirt. Maybe that will give you more light. I hope you get that sorted. And no need to ever apologise. Good evening, ISO Magic. Just sold Semenyo for Bruno. I understand it. I'd rather have Bruno than Semenyo. I think they're both great, but if I had to choose one. Agnibar, good to see you, my friend. Okay, I've got your team. Willing to take hits. Triple captain and bench boost left. Possible transfers. Okay, defence. Munoz, Chalobah, Anderson. Senesi and Rodon on the bench. Sarr, Semenyo, Saka, Njai, Voltemada, Mateta, Haaland. Okay, I think you just use the 1 transfer. I don't think I would take a hit. And I would probably just sell Ismail Assar for Minter. You could also buy Elliot Anderson to free up more money in the future. But I think Sarr to Minter or Anderson is the most straightforward transfer there. I don't think taking a hit, or at least for me, is worth it with that defence. Khan says, sorry, I didn't clarify. I can go to Timber from Senesi and do Njai to Anderson. I like that. I like that a lot, Khan. I don't think Timber will be rested, no. I think he could get an early sub. And there's always a possibility that he is. But speaking to Arsenal fans, watching them, I think Timber's a bit of a fitness monster when he is fit and available. I know he was suffering with injury issues, but we've seen the past. Like last season, actually, Arteta was playing Timber into the ground around December, January. He basically started every game midweek, played 90 minutes. I think Ben White was injured at the time, but still, he's shown that Timber can do that. So I'm optimistic on Timber. The player that I'm most worried about is Richards. If like you said, who do you think is the one player that we benched in your team? It could be more than one, but I would say Richards is the one that worries me the most. Hi Ross, currently 2k rank. What are some differentials you'll be looking at over the next few weeks? Love the content. That is insane, by the way. Ridiculous rank. Differentials. I think Cunha. Maybe not this week just because of the slight doubts, but I think slightly longer term I like him a lot. I think Raul Jimenez is a player that stands out to me, with Moniz probably out till Jan. Raul Jimenez always puts up pretty good data, probably on pens as well. Any other players that I've looked at as differentials? I still think Foden, and even to some extent Gakpo, they are relative differentials in comparison to a lot of others. So yeah, those are some of the players that I'll be looking at. But at 2k rank, mate, you're smashing it. Even if you have a couple of bad weeks, you're still doing very well. Giandra says, hi Ross, need your thoughts please, of course. 2 free transfers, Senesi and Sarr out, can do Timber/Anderson, or Chow Minter, and Virgil to Timber for a -4. Which do you prefer? Timber Anderson. I think Timber Anderson. Yeah, Timber and Anderson for me. And then would I start DCL Xhaka or Joachim Anderson? I think probably Granit Xhaka from those options there. Is Aaron Hickey a good Goodmanson replacement? I don't think he's fully nailed on, is he? Or is he? I would probably just go for Vandenberg. Just because you know he is, and he's good for DEFCON as well. Even though Collins was the one that hogged it up last week. Or Coyote, if you can afford Coyote. I think probably Hickey's probably my fourth favourite Brentford defender. I'd pick the other three ahead of him. But maybe that is just a misplaced opinion. I'm not a Brentford fan, so I'm not sure. Is Rice a good option? Yeah, I like Rice as a replacement for Ismail Assar. Yeah, absolutely. Chow over Lewis Hall for any reason beyond price. Price, goal threat, and possible DEFCON. Lewis Hall is very creative and he will get attacking returns, but he won't be great for DEFCON. And again, like you say, Claudette, he is a bit more expensive. But he's probably a bit more exciting. I do really love Lewis Hall as a player. Brentford is playing against Arsenal. Yeah. What did I miss? Did I say they weren't? Yeah, I wouldn't buy a Brentford defender this week. Absolutely not. But like as a long-term pick, from game week 16 onwards, I really like Brentford assets. Anobi says, hi Ross, I have 8 attackers, 2 free transfers, okay? Semenyo Sarr to Fernandez Anderson, or Pope Sarr to Verbruggen Gakpo, or Sarr Mateta to Fernandez Guiu. I think Semenyo Sarr to Fernandez Anderson stands out to me there. I don't love selling Semenyo, but after this week, he's got 2 tricky fixtures in a row. His output's been pretty low. His data in recent weeks hasn't been great. I do think he was unfortunate not to return in game week 13, but I would probably lean that way, Semenyo to Fernandez. It depends how much you want Bruno Fernandes, right? Some people won't feel the need. West Ham have conceded the most goals via centre mids than any team this year. I did see that. It's because their midfield is probably their weakest area of the pitch. I mean, since losing Declan Rice, that midfield has been struggling. Did Sarr to Anderson last night after the stream. I like it. Still thinking of Njai to Bruno to captain him for a hit. I don't mind it, Ben, if you're going to captain him. Like, if you're really convinced Bruno's the best captain, then probably do it. Like, and the thing is, you're going to have to sell Njai in the next few weeks anyway. So all you're doing is just bringing the transfer forward a little bit. My back hurts today. I've been sat at my desk too much. Barry has played 550 minutes, had 11 shots and 0 on target. Yes, like the Everton forwards stink. Beto and Barry. Like, just so bad. Hi Ross, big love. Enjoy or Thiago in this week. What, to start? I would start Iliman. Enjoy, I would. I mean, it really is the most difficult fixture in the league, Arsenal away. So I don't have any issue with people benching Thiago this week. I would probably bench him if I had him. I'd be tempted to play a 4 at the back. I'd be tempted to start Krupi. Like, unless he gets a penalty or Arsenal fall apart, you wouldn't imagine he gets too many chances. Hi, Ross. Richard or Burns to start and Minter or Thiago? I would probably start Richards and Minter. Thoughts on a saucy punt on Miley over Anderson Richards tonight? I probably wouldn't. I can get it, though. If he starts, he's great. Also, when's the next Geoguessr coming? Cheers, lad. The next GeoRaptor video is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So if you do watch that, if you don't, by the way, it's a chance to give it a little cheeky shout out, I guess. If you like geography content or Geoguessr content, or you just want to support me a little bit, living my dream as a YouTuber, I do have another YouTube channel. I'll chuck it in the chat now. I've spammed it. Don't block me, report me for spamming in my own chat. But yeah, that's the channel link. Feel free to go and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Hi Ross, if I was to take Senesi here and also remove Njai, would you rather have Van Dijk, Anderson, or Timber, KDH? Or would you not take the hit? I probably wouldn't take a hit to remove Iliman Njai, but if I were to, I think the stronger combination... Timber's just great. So I think Timber and Dewsbury Hill is probably just about the stronger combo. Stop spamming or get muted. Rank the captaincy options. I've got a captaincy ranking here. Here we go. Top left of the screen. Just where my cursor's at, just there. There's my captaincy ranking. Thomas, okay, I've got your team. It says thoughts. Great, well, firstly, exceptional defense. Midfield looks nice. Yeah, I like that team a lot. Gordon's the only one I'm a bit unsure on. Let me have a look at the Newcastle mid's minutes. Yeah, I mean, Gordon played 1 minute against Everton. So Gordon would be the only one I'm a little bit unsure on. But other than that, it's a nice team. Ashley has been a member for 12 months. Thank you, Ashley. No message attached, but I appreciate it. Skilly Man is now stuck in my head from the last deadline stream. I mean, it's a great name. If his name's Illy Man, then you can understand why people call him Skilly Man. Do you think Mateta is less of a captaincy option with Sarr out? Not necessarily. It's more than minutes. Like, if you told me Mateta gets 90, I'd be tempted. But I just don't think he gets 90. And I think there are other players that will. Or have a greater chance at least. Hi Ross, talk me out of this. Gakpo or Semenyo out for Bruno and a -4 and captain him. Actually be rogue and convince me. Utter head loss. You want me to talk you out of it? To talk you out of it, I think Gakpo and Semenyo are brilliant FPL options, both of them. And I would be very happy to own them. To talk you into it though, if you think someone is the best captain, maybe it's worth taking a -4 hit for them. Because if they go big, it pays the hit back comfortably and you own a good player moving forward. For what it's worth, I think Bruno is a better asset than Gakpo and Semenyo, but not by that much. So I've not really helped you much at all there. I don't think it's head loss per se. It is a risk selling one of those, but... Hello, Ross and chat. Hello, Zodiac. Good to see you. Do you think Gakpo's minutes are secure? Not overly, no. I think he starts most games, though. Odd question. Bench boost 17. Foden and Obi or Walter and King? Depends what kind of manager you are. Like Walter minutes are more secure, but Foden's got the upside. I would go Foden. If you said I could have one of Foden or Walter just added to my team, I would go Foden. But he's just the sort of pick that I like. That comes down to personal preference, I think, on the way you play FPL. Best Senesi replacement up to 6 million. Probably Munoz and then Van Dijk. If Timber was 6 million, I'd put Timber in there, but he's obviously not. I don't think, right? He's like 6.3, isn't he? 6.4 now. You're too safe, Ross. Thanks. I free hit last week and sold the likes of Semenyo, Mateta. And then people started saying it was template. And I'm like, it's not template. I've literally sold highly owned assets for the week. Thoughts on Canate? I don't mind Canate, no. Would you start Xhaka, Esteve, or Thiago? I mean, none of those are great. I would be tempted to just start probably Thiago in that position. I think it's pretty close, though. You wouldn't expect too much from any of them. Would you buy Gakpo or Foden? I would lean Foden, but that's a personal preference thing. I think they're both decent assets. They're both slight minutes risks, you know? Would you start Krupi as a differential? Only if you've got no other real options. Like for me, I would never start Krupi ahead of any of the other players that I've got to choose from. Do you have any transfers left? No. If I did, I'd be using them. Hi, Ross. Love the jersey. Thank you very much. Views on Kudus as a punt. I think if you've got him, I don't mind him. I wouldn't be buying him. We've seen nothing to suggest that he's a good FPL asset long term. He might do okay for 1 or 2 weeks, but I've not seen too much. I have the exact funds to go Senesi/Sarr to Timber/Foden. I have VVD, Tark, Rodon, Anderson, Semenyo, Bruno, and Minter. Thoughts? Might wait for leaks. Senesi/Sarr to Timber, Foden. Yeah, I mean, you could wait for leaks. I also just think that's a lovely set of 2 transfers. I'm 50-50 with Gordon too, but Caicedo got sent off. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We might find something out before the deadline. Is Barnes being overlooked? Maybe slightly. The thing is with Barnes, his minutes aren't great. Like, you'd expect him to start more often than you wouldn't, but with Gordon now available, with Murphy, with Alanga, like, they have options. Wisser coming back as well. Could they maybe play like a 4-4-2 narrow formation with Wisser and Watermada? Maybe. I just think there are options that means that Barnes doesn't have to start every game. But still, again, you'd imagine that he does start more often than he doesn't. Start João Pedro or Iliman Ndiaye? I would probably go João Pedro. What transfers did you make? I literally just sold Sarr to Bruno because I had 2.8 million in the bank. I've now got 0.5 million, but I had the money to just go Sarr straight to Bruno, so I did it. And at the moment, I am captaining Bruno, but I think it's very close. I'm not going to try and convince anyone else to do it. I think Haaland's a perfectly viable cap. Who should I start, Rice or O'Reilly? Ooh, close one. But I think if you've got Declan Rice, I think he's been brilliant, so I would start Declan Rice. Asem, thank you for becoming a Rap Tier 1 member. I appreciate it. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. I think we've had 2 new members on this stream, but thank you for anyone that's become a member. By the way, if you do want to become a member, I don't regularly push it because I don't want people to think I'm just trying to steal everyone's money. But if you want to become a member, every single game week I do a members-only live stream for like 30 to 45 minutes. You obviously get priority reply in comments, live streams. I can't always promise a reply priority. And also we have a group chat as well. To get all of that stuff, you need to be a Rap Tier 1 member though. Rap Tier 2 member doesn't get you access to the members-only content and group chat. But yeah, I recommend doing it. Most people seem to enjoy it. Anyway, Bass, not only a member, but also with the Zoom chat, says, "Hi, Legend, what to do? Semenyo out for Foden. Okay. Or Gakpo or Ndiaye out for Rodgers or roll." I think I'll just roll. I think Semenyo and Ndiaye are fine. I don't think that's a massive upgrade. I have Eze, Ndiaye, Mbeumo, Semenyo, and KDH, Haaland, JP, and Mateta. That sounds like a really nice team to me, Bass. I don't think I'd make a move, personally. Asem says, "I'm so confused to either captain Watermada, Saka, Foden. I have Haaland, by the way, but not feeling it. I think out of those options, I'd probably go Saka, Asem. But I mean, Watermada and Foden could be exciting. It depends how good you think Saka's minutes will be, basically, I think. Greg says, "Hello, Ross. Great channel, mate. Thank you very much. Got 2 benching headaches. O'Reilly or Munoz?" I mean, that's not a benching headache. You have to... If I would just start both your Palace assets. I don't think you could start O'Reilly or Thiago ahead of Munoz and Mateta. Yeah, definitely start your Palace. But the thing is, Palace have been looking leggy, but you still back them to do well in this fixture. Thomas says, "Gordon is rumoured to start. See what happens." Yep, okay. I could see it for sure. Braptar says, "Matt, Saka and Sarr and Semenyo to Rice and Foden and Gakpo." I would not be selling Saka and Semenyo this week. I think they're both great assets. So I'm going to say no. I would just do Sarr to another midfielder myself. But obviously, if you fancy it, go for it. Would you sell Eze to Barnes, Rodgers, or Gakpo? No, personally not. If I was going to, Gakpo's the only one I'd be tempted by. Tried calling FPL Pickle. She did not reply. That's fine. Cool. You've got about an hour until the deadline. Plenty of time to still make your decisions, but do not lose track of time. And obviously, if you are going to be busy, then get your transfers made. So you've got an hour until the deadline. Pope replacements. Yeah, I think Sells, Sanchez, Verbruggen, Pickford. I like Donnarumma, but he's on 4 yellow cards, which is crazy. I mean, Raya's great in terms of just steady points. Georaptor stream when, Ross? We could do one soon, for sure. Maybe this weekend I'll do a Georaptor stream. I enjoyed doing the last one, to be fair. Ross, do I do Senesi to O'Reilly for a -4? He's so tempting. If you think he'll go big, then go for it. I don't think it's a great fixture. It's a midweek fixture as well. We don't know exactly how his minutes will look. I don't think O'Reilly for a -4 is perfect for me this week. Like if you had like Burnley at home and it wasn't a midweek, then yeah. But just for a midweek fixture against Fulham away, I'm not quite there with it. Semenyo to Bruno, Sarr to Anderson, or Saka to Rice/Eze and Sarr to Bruno. I think I prefer the Semenyo to Bruno, Sarr to Anderson combo. Just about. I also don't think you have to sell Semenyo, but I can understand why people are using Semenyo to get to Bruno. It makes sense. Bass with another super chat. Bass, you're very kind. This is mostly for all the content and love, legend. Doubting between Mbeumo and Haaland for captain. Feel like back in Mbeumo. Thanks for all the tips and content, mate. Lots of love. Thank you for all the support as well, Bass. You're a legend. I think you should go Mbeumo, because I don't think there's much between Mbeumo and Haaland. And if you're feeling it, back yourself. This is a week where you can go against Haaland. I'm not saying he could twat in a hat-trick quite easily, Haaland, but back yourself. I think if you've got a feeling on something, you should absolutely commit to it. And thank you for the support, Bass. I appreciate that. Mahir says, hi, Ross. Still watching streams during family functions. Oh, dear. I think you're not alone, to be fair. Is it worth rolling my free transfer? Raya, Van Dijk, Richards, Joachim Anderson, Bruno Mbeumo, Semenyo, Enzo, Haaland, Jean-Philippe Mateta, Igor, Big Love, Geography, Psych, FPL Expert, and then Bruno or Mbeumo captain. I think Bruno versus Mbeumo is close. I would captain Fernandes for multiple routes to points, but Mbeumo is very likely to get more open play opportunities to score goals. I think that's a 50-50. And what was your other question? Is it worth rolling? I think if you've got a free transfer, what could you do? Van Dijk, Richards, Joachim Anderson. I mean, I assume you've got Senesi on the bench. Considering you're starting Anderson, from Fulham that is, of course, I would be tempted to sell one of your other defenders so that you've got a better defender to start if you've got the free transfer. So I don't think you've actually given me your other defenders, Mahir, but I would be willing to do that. Botman to Munoz or Van Dijk or Njai to Bruno. I would go Botman to Munoz unless you want to captain Bruno, in which case the Njai to Bruno move makes more sense. Khan says, thank you, appreciate it. Also got to say you have a fantastic memory. Thank you very much, Khan. I try my best. Good luck for the game week. Left with free hit, triple captain and bench boost. Not sure when to play. Thank you for the support. Free hit, triple captain, bench boost. I said to someone else, actually, but they had wildcard. But I would be looking at, probably free hit 15, triple captain 16, bench boost 17. Like, if you've got a very standard team, which I think you do from memory, Khan. But yeah, I think I quite like free hit 15, triple captain 16, bench boost 17. Which three to bench? Who to transfer? Sharda, Senesi, Mukiele, Thiago, Stack. One free transfer, 0 in the bank. Sharda to Anderson for the bigger bank or free hit this week? I mean, that sounds like you could free hit this week, to be fair. If you've got the free hit and you've got time to build one now, I would be tempted, Mikel. If not, then yes, I think Sharda to Minter or Anderson, give you a bit of money in the bank, improve that position slightly. I think that's a nice transfer overall. I also think Stack to Dewsbury Hall works as well. So yeah, Sharda to Anderson, Stack to Dewsbury Hall, something like that. Derek says, start Thiago or Welbeck. I would go Welbeck. And yeah, that's a nice team, Derek. Your bench is looking a little bit weak, I guess. Not too bad, though. Rice, Saka, Anderson, Bruno, Semenyo. Lovely midfield. Great defense. Yeah, that team looks really good, Derek. I think you should get a green arrow this week, you'd hope, anyway, with that team. Will you sell Pope after the deadline to avoid the drop in price? No. I don't know what price I bought Pope at, actually. Let me make sure. I might have bought him at a cheaper price. I did. So if you go on your transfers page, it will tell you your purchase price, selling price, and current price. I bought Pope for 5.1 million, and he's now 5.2. So I can only sell him for 5.1 anyway. So when Pope drops from 5.2 to 5.1, it doesn't affect my selling price. So I can take one price drop on Pope. I also might not sell Pope in 15. I might actually do like Semenyo to Foden. I was looking at. I was also looking at still maybe selling Senesi to Nico O'Reilly. I think I do want another City asset. I also still like Liverpool assets as well. So I even looked at Senesi to Kanate, but I think I'm now priced out of that. Semenyo to Soboslai Gakpo. I think I can still afford Semenyo to Gakpo. So these are some of the transfers that I was looking at. Can I still afford Foden, right? I think I can. What is Foden's current price? 8.1. Yeah, okay. I'm okay. I've got 0.1 actually on that. I might end up getting priced out. I might go early if I fancy it. But yeah, that's what I was kind of looking at for next week. I might not end up selling Pope, basically. Under 6 million replacement for Senesi. Have Van Dijk and Richards. Probably Munoz if you have a free spot. Otherwise, I think you're probably looking at Nico O'Reilly or Chow. So Nico O'Reilly, Chow, or Munoz. So if you had to take out one for Bruno between Gakpo or Semenyo, I'm definitely making the move. Captain Bruno then. Big Man United fan. Makes sense then. I would probably take out Semenyo and keep Gakpo. If we're looking at players that I think are probably on a downward trend versus an upward trend. But this week, like, I would probably slightly prefer Semenyo to Gakpo in 14. But I think longer term, over the next 6 weeks, I think Gakpo could do really well. So I would keep Gakpo and sell Semenyo, sorry. Sarr to Gakpo, get Timber for a -4, or Sarr to Saka and play Anderson. Ooh, I would probably do Sarr to Saka and play Anderson. Nasib says, 2 free transfers, Semenyo and Livramento, or Bruno and Esteve as a 5th defender. My team is already... Okay. I would probably go Bruno and then Esteve. Bruno and Esteve. Yeah, I would lean that way, Nasib. Sam says, thoughts on Semenyo and Burmo, Rice, Enzo, and Jai Thiago, Haaland, Mateta. Got 1 free transfer with 0.2 in the bank. Yeah, nice. Roll. There's no transfer you can make there which upgrades your team, I don't think. Like, Thiago's not great for this week, but it's fine. You've also got 5 good midfielders, so you could just bench Thiago this week. Just bench Thiago, don't make a transfer, and then make two transfers next week. You don't have the Sarr issue to deal with, and I don't think any of those players need to be sold. Would you bench boost Dubravka, Anderson, Rodon, Esteve? Dubravka, Anderson, Rodon, Esteve. I'd be tempted, man. Probably not. Just about no, because it's a midweek. So much could go wrong. And also, like, Rodon, Esteve, and Dubravka aren't great. The one thing I would say is Elliot Anderson is brilliant. So, like, Elliot Anderson alone might make the bench boost worth it. But I would say probably not overall, just because a midweek scares me. Like, there could just be random rotation. Hi, Ross. Game week 14, torn between Chow/Timber for Senesi, Dunk Caicedo to Anderson. Game week 15, thinking of bringing Thiago and Chow or Timber, who I don't transfer for game week 14. I would prioritise Timber. Timber's got the better fixture, he's the better player. Just in case you can't make the second move as well, I would go Timber. Start Semenyo or Enzo. I would lean Semenyo, just about, but I would ideally like to start both of them, to be fair. Okay, hello Dave, I got your team. 4 free transfers, sells Anderson, O'Reilly, Minter, in place of Xhaka, Senesi, Njai, and I guess Pope, yeah. Easy transfers. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, I would make those transfers, Dave, absolutely. Get those 4 free transfers made. Hi, Ross, would you sell Njai for Fernandes for a -4? If you're going to captain him, yes. If you're not, then no. Bowen to Watermada or Isak for a hit? No, I would just play Bowen, to be honest. Bowen, from memory, I feel like Bowen does score against Man United, or at least he plays well against us. I wouldn't be surprised if United concede. I think I've got it listed as a 3-1 win. Might be slightly optimistic. Is Anderson better option than Chow for Senesi? I think long term, Joachim Anderson's great, but like this week, I'd rather have Chow than Anderson. Start Krupi or Hall from Everton. Hall from Everton? I don't know a Hall for Everton, I don't think. So creepy. If you mean Hall from Newcastle, I think that's probably Hall from Newcastle. Here for FPL says again, Senesi to Munoz / O'Reilly already have Richards. I think Senesi to Munoz is still great. I would ignore having Richards, you know. Oh, Dewsbury Hall. Of course. I don't know why I didn't think. Yeah, I understand now. Dewsbury Hall. Then definitely Dewsbury Hall, 100%. That's so funny. I just didn't think. KDH. I always obviously say his full name, so I didn't think. Hedge Hunter says, "Hi Ross, cheers for all the great content. You are more than welcome. Please pick 3 of these to help my decision-making process. Van Hecke, Porro, Dorgu, Trufa, Munoz." I think that's quite easy, actually, this one. I would go Munoz, Trufa, and Van Hecke. I think Porro's got a difficult fixture, and I don't trust Spurs. Dorgu may not start. Like, he clearly isn't favoured by Amorim. If you saw the quotes from Amorim recently, he didn't sound very good at all. And Man United aren't a great defence. I'd probably go Van Hecke, Trufa, and Munoz. The 2 that I would definitely start are Trufa and Munoz. And then Van Hecke versus Dorgu versus Porro is pretty close. KJ50493 says, team is Raya, VVD, Senesi. Okay, I've got your team. 1 free transfer, 0.5 in the bank. Who to buy? Senesi to O'Reilly, best cap. I mean, captain is Haaland or a Man United mid. You don't have a Man United mid, so I would just captain Haaland in your team. Senesi to O'Reilly, I think, is a really nice transfer. If I was going to sell Senesi this week, I think I would buy O'Reilly, so I like that as a transfer. Derek says 0.5 in the bank. Gameweek 15. Senesi to O'Reilly or change Van de Ven. So you can't afford Van de Ven. If you can afford Van de Ven to O'Reilly, I prefer that. I'd probably prefer to keep Senesi than Van de Ven. If you can't afford that, you could do Van de Ven to Chow against Burnley. Feels quite nice. Is Mateta a good captain? I just worry about Mateta's minutes. I think there is a world where he doesn't start or gets like 60, 70 mins. Who should I prioritise replacing between Sarr and Caicedo? I would say Sarr, more expensive. I don't think we're going to get Sarr now for a while. He's injured and then AFCON. So I would rather keep Caicedo and sell Sarr. But I think you could definitely sell both of them. Play Van Hecke or Elliot Anderson? Definitely Elliot Anderson. I think Elliot Anderson's a great player for this week. Is this a good week to wildcard? I don't love a midweek wildcard, just because you're always, as well as trying to pick a good long-term team, you're having to manage minutes expectations. I would prefer 15 or 16 for a wildcard, personally. Who gets more points this week, Semenyo or Gakpo? Oh, it depends how many minutes Gakpo gets, but I would lean Semenyo. I think Semenyo is unlucky not to haul in game week 13, or at least get 1 or 2 assists. If Evan Nilsson could finish and not do silly things in front of goal, then I think he would have had returns. Appreciate it, Ross. Keep up that Raptor rank charge. I'll try my best. That PAA guy. Okay, it says, hi, Ross. My midfielders, Bruno G, Anderson, Bruno F, Minter, and Alanga. I've got a sneaky feeling Newcastle's right winger cooks the next 2 games, but I don't know who to pick out of Alanga or Murphy. Oh, well, I think they probably get 1 game each, which is the concern. I can't tell you. I think you've got Bruno G, so do you also need a Newcastle mid? I would probably go elsewhere with that final position. Like, I think you've got Anderson and Minter. If you can afford Gakpo or Foden, I love them. If you can't, who else would I go for? Declan Rice, if you have a third Arsenal spot open. I mean, I guess there's not a ton of options. I just don't know. Like, Newcastle fans in the chat, help us out here. Murphy or Alanga. Do you think either of them could start both? I just don't know. Posh18 has been a member for 33 months. Thank you very much. Yeah, Gibbs White. I like Gibbs White as a pick as well, yeah. Can you talk about Minter versus Thiago? Easy pick. Minter. For sure. Better fixture. At home. No, not at all. Yeah, I think Bruno G. Murphy tonight, Elanga Saturday. Yeah, most people think one starts one starts the other. Probably, yeah. Probably is more likely to be Murphy if one of them does start both, but I don't see it. Cool. There we go. Thank you, chat. Thank you, as always. Marcus says, need to get Caicedo and Senesi out for a hit. Total budget, 12.2 million. Defender and mid. Replacements have Timber, Van Dijk, Saka, Mbeumo, Semenyo, and Jaya. Bench of Giu, VDB, and Mukiele. In that case, you probably want a slightly more premium defender. I think Munoz sounds like you don't have a triple Palace at the moment. So I think Munoz, and that would leave you with about 6.2 million. So Minter. Can you afford Minter and Munoz? In fact, I think that's exactly 12.2. If I've not got my prices wrong. Hopefully that works for you, Marcus. Those would be the two that I would go for. Kuro. Thiago or O'Reilly, Pope out for a hit. What's the key debate for each replacement? Bruno or Haaland captain? Thanks, Ross. Everyone should sub and also play club. Thank you very much. We will talk about club in a bit. I would go O'Reilly over Chow, but I think it's very close. I would not take a hit for Nick Pope, assuming you've got Dubravka as an option. If you don't, then you kind of have to take a hit because Pope won't play. Bruno or Haaland captain is 50-50. That comes down to your own gut feeling. I can't answer that question this week. I think probably objectively, Haaland is the slightly safer option, but Bruno does have upside as well. Mark says, I have 3 free transfers. Senesi, Sarr, and Pope are all issues. Yes, but I can bring in Bruno, Anderson, and Anderson for Sarr, Senesi, and Njai, and just play Dubravka. Thoughts? I like that. Yeah, I think that's a nice set of 3 transfers. I would do that. Listen, Dubravka will make saves. He has a chance for a clean sheet playing at home. There aren't that many goalkeepers I trust anyway. I like that option, Mark. Nathaniel says, I have a Bruggen, Van Dijk, Timber, Richards, Biol. Transfer Senesi to O'Reilly for free and bench Thiago, or just play Thiago. If it's for free, I would do it, yeah. I'd get that done, Nathaniel. I like Senesi to O'Reilly. For a hit, I would have probably just played Thiago, but for free, why not? Eric says, Pedro and Jai stack Senesi to Krupi, Saka, Anderson, and O'Reilly. 5 free transfers looking to bench boost in 17. Love it again. Really nice transfers. Now, obviously selling Pedro and Njai does carry some risk, but the 4 players that are coming in are better. Krupi's a slight risk if you want a bench boost soon, but he'll get minutes off the bench usually, and he could start. So yeah, I like it. Jay says, hey bud, I've got a defense of Raya, Keane, Virgil, Richard, Senesi, and Anderson. Okay, nice. I have 1 free transfer and 0.8 in the bank. Senesi out for O'Reilly. Cheers. Yeah, again. Like, I think if you've got transfers, use them this week, because you're going to have to use them before Game Week 15 anyway. So you've basically got 2 weeks to use all of your transfers. This feels like a good week to at least use 1 or 2 of them. So yeah, I would go for it. Having back issues, back pain, sit at my desk too much. I'm going to lean forward for a little bit. Hi Ross, 0. No, that, wait, where was I? Hi Ross, 0.0 in the bank. Munoz, Senesi, Saliba, Anderson, Alderete. 1 free transfer, what to do? Saliba out for Van Dijk. Probably. Now, I'd like to do Saliba to Timber, but you can't afford that. So I think Saliba to Van Dijk. Now, Saliba could play, but it's probably not worth the risk, and you don't really have to cover. Other options, Senesi to... I mean, there's not really anyone you can do in one move. I would say Saliba to Van Dijk. You could also take a -4 hit to do something like Senesi to Van Hecker and Saliba to Timber. So I'll leave you with those 2 options, James. But I think Saliba to Van Dijk would be my preference there. Hi, Ross. Pope. Okay, I've got your team. MLSUS Piro. Or Mises Piro, I don't know. I've got your team. 2 free transfers. What should I do? Roll. Timber, Senesi, Richards, Anderson, Rodon. Saka, Semenyo, Mbeumo, Enzo, Longstaff, Thiago, Mateta, Haaland. I don't know how much money you have in the bank. But if you've got free transfers, I would sell Senesi. If you've got enough to do Senesi to O'Reilly or Senesi to Chow, that would be my choice. If you don't, then maybe just roll, yeah. Dinyuanand says, should I do a bench boost? Raya? Okay, I've got your team. So your bench would be like Roofs, Shaw, Chow, and like Rogers. Yeah, I mean, I would be tempted, to be fair. I would be tempted, but I think, again, it's midweek. I think there are probably going to be good weeks for you in the future as well. So I probably wouldn't bench boost it, given that it's a midweek and anything can happen midweek. Semenyo /Sarr for Bruno Minter. or Sar and Jai for Bruno KDH? I think Sar and Jai for Bruno KDH. Yeah. Hi, mate. Would you start Thiago or Njai? I would start Iliman Njai. Cheeky Mateta cap versus Burnley. I just don't love the minutes projections enough. But yeah, if you think Mateta gets more than 70 mins, he's a great captain. I think he could get less than that this week. Flawless HDTVs is 2 free transfers, 3.1 in the bank, looking at Senesi and Njai out. Okay. I've got Bruno, Semenyo, Rice, Minter, VVD, Richards, Anderson, Rodon. Thoughts on Foden? +1, 0.1 off Timber. So it would be like Foden and Munoz, right? Could you do that? Yeah, probably Foden and Munoz, I like. Nice and easy. Otherwise, you could go Gakpo and Timber. Gakpo and Timber. I think Foden and Munoz I would go for. Enzo and Sarr to Bruno and KDH for a -4. Enzo and Sarr to Bruno and KDH for a -4. If you're going to captain Bruno, yes, Bob. If you're not, then no. Hi, Ross. Foden captain. I'm feeling a Foden brace. Are you feeling a Foden brace because you just got a brace? I mean, back-to-back braces would be quite something. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just question whether you're feeling a Foden brace because you just got a brace. Sarr to either Foden, Anderson, Rice, Gakpo, Minter, Eze, or anyone else. Who's the best pick this week and long term? I mean, if you can choose any of those, I think Anderson, Rice, and Minter offer great value, but Foden and Gakpo have a really high ceiling. If you need the money and you think your team could do with upgrading, I would go for Elliot Anderson or Minter. If you feel like your team doesn't need money elsewhere, I'd be willing to take a risk on a Foden or a Gakpo. Declan Rice is probably like your safest bet there. But I also think Anderson's minutes are so good and he's so cheap. Would you do Mbeumo, Semenyo, and Anderson for Sarr, Salah, and Senesi for a -4? Tempting. I have Richards as a risk, otherwise could have avoided the hit. I still don't know if I would do it. Like Sarr to Minter or Anderson probably makes more sense as a transfer. It depends how much you feel like you want to keep Salah for one more week. If you want to get rid, then yeah, I like it. I would still probably go Bruno instead of Mbeumo if you don't have Bruno. Like Mbeumo, you're going to have to sell in 3 weeks anyway. Bolivian Navy says, Egglicious, still got my free hit. Not playing it this week. Which week do you think has the most upside? Depends on your team, but I would say 15 or 16. For my own team, 16 looked like the best. But for example, like FPL Focal is free hitting in 15 because that suits his team. It's so team dependent, Bolivian Navy. But yeah, I think 15 and 16 on paper look like the best 2 weeks. Van der Ven to Nico Williams or Van Hecker? I like Nico Williams, but I think I would just go cheap Van Hecker. Save the money. Money is going to be very useful at all points, right? Why is my phone not letting me view what is coming in here? You have got 37 minutes until the deadline. Plenty of time still. If you're wondering what I have done, I have sold Sarr for Bruno. My only decision still to make is do I captain Bruno or captain Haaland? And at the moment I have... Bruno cap. Surely free hit 15 makes no sense. You're basically burning minimum 1 transfer. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you should only be burning 1. If you've got 2 free transfers or more, then don't free hit in 15. Because yeah, you're burning at least 2 then. But yeah, you are burning a transfer essentially. I guess I would say you're always burning a transfer in the week you free hit though, right? Technically. Because you never accumulate a transfer in the week you free hit. So you're always kind of burning one. Foden and Vandenberg, ready for Game Week 16, or Minter and Chow? I think Minter and Chow probably makes more sense and is better value, but I love Phil Foden, so I'm always going to say I don't mind him. What are your plans for Pope? He's out for 6 games. I think selling in 16 when I get the 5 free transfers. Like next week, Dubravka's got Newcastle away. I might just start Dubravka and hope he makes some saves, but I could sell him next week. It depends if I feel like I want to use the transfer elsewhere next week. But yeah, I will be selling Nick Pope in probably Game Week 16. I don't know if Reinders will start. Getting lots of questions about Reinders. I will not attempt to predict Pep. I've got no idea. Why not both Bruno and Mbeumo? Because I've just not got unlimited free transfers. But yeah, I think Mbeumo and Bruno as a pairing are really nice. What are your wildcard thoughts? If you watch my video from earlier today, I discussed wildcard at the end of it. If you're on wildcard, maybe go watch that. And then come back after. Thanks for the previous answer, mate. I'm in first place in 3 of my mini leagues. Fair play. Should I captain Haaland or risk on an Mbeumo or even Saka Mateta? I would personally, if you're first, it means you're doing something right. Ignore ownership, ignore risk. Do you think Haaland or Mbeumo score more points? Just treat it genuinely that, like black and white. Just who will score more points? Easy as that. I wouldn't start taking into account risk and ownership and who has who in your mini leagues. It's too early. So I think both are fine. I'm probably going to take the risk on a Man United mid. Bench 1 of Elliot Anderson, Njaya or João Pedro. Bench 1. Probably Iliman. Probably Iliman Njaya. Tell me to triple captain Mbeumo. No, I'm not going to say that. It's a midweek. You might get reduced minutes. I don't think Mbeumo's the triple cap I would go for, but by all means, if you want to go for it, go for it. To follow up on Semenyo, Mbeumo and Anderson for Sarr, Salah and Senesi, I have Bruno, Minter, Njaya, Munoz, Virgil to name the important ones. Okay, so you've already got a very good team. Listen, if you think Mbeumo's great, Semenyo's great, you don't want to keep Salah any longer, then go for it. Otherwise, I think you could sell Sarr and Senesi for like Minter and O'Reilly or something like that. And that would also be fine and you don't have to take a hit. So it depends how much you want to sell Mohamed Salah. Liz says, looking to replace Senesi and Njaya and Sarr. 5 free transfers, very similar teams to you. What's a better combo? Munoz, Anderson, Minter. I like it. Munoz, Anderson, Rice. So I probably prefer Minter based on value. Or O'Reilly and any combo of Anderson, Rice, Minter. I would say Munoz, Anderson and Minter. The first one you listed, I would say, Liz. And thank you for the super chat and the support as always. Juve to Chow or Pope to Raya. Could also do both. If it's for free, I would do both. If you could only do one, probably Pope to Raya this week. Gabriel Njaya to O'Reilly Gakpo, or Gabriel Reinders to Munoz and... I think Gabriel Njaya to O'Reilly Gakpo sounds quite nice. I think I would go that way. Yeah. Yeah, just about. Have a good team and wildcard left. What is the best strategy? If you've got the wildcard, I mean, you could just wait until the final week to play it before Game Week 19, or you could look to use it in Game Week 6, like between 15 and 16. So basically, you wildcard in the week we get topped up to 5 free transfers, which means when you come out of the wildcard, you'll still have 5 free transfers and ideally a pretty good team. I would be tempted to use it in 15 or 16 probably. Hi, Russ. I've got your team, Bernardo Poku. Bernardo Silva. Hello, Bernardo Silva. I've got your team. I have 0.4 in the bank, 3 free transfers, bench boost, wildcard, and triple captain. What should I do? Chip strategy and this game week. Bench boost, wildcard, triple captain. You probably wildcard 15, triple captain 16, bench boost 17. I'd use them in the next 3 weeks. So you basically want to use your 3 free transfers. If you're going to wildcard 15, then you kind of need to use your 3 free transfers. So I would sell Senesi, Gabriel, and Reinders for like O'Reilly, Chow, and I mean, you can take some short-term punts. If you're wildcarding next week, actually, take some short-term punts. You've asked a lot of me to do in a super chat there. I would be looking at 1 week punts and wildcard next week. So 3 transfers to do whatever you want with your team for 1 week. Like bring in fun players that you think have high upside. I can't think off the top of my head about money, combinations, 1 week's wildcards, but yeah, I think you need to work out your chip strategy. I think wildcard 15 works quite well, but then you basically need to use all 3 free transfers this week for 1 week punts. And thank you for the support. Null8398 says, Sarr to Bruno, done deal. Great. Need to make 2 more transfers. Okay, Gabriel and Senesi or Pope to Timber / Virgil and O'Reilly or goalkeeper or something else. Okay, Gabriel to Timber, yes. And then, I mean, probably Pope out makes more sense. I don't know how much money you have in the bank. I would do Gabriel to Timber and Pope to whichever goalkeeper you can afford. Verbruggen, Sells, Raya. Depends how much money you have. Depends which other players you own. But yeah, I think Gabriel and Pope out makes sense. Thank you for the support as well. Abdel says, Thiago, Reinders, Goodmanson, Achempong, big punt, play 1. Probably Thiago. I think all of those don't feel great. Yeah, I'd probably say Thiago. Still need to sell Gabriel, Timber or Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk's still fine, by the way, but I would go Timber. Is Anderson a start? I mean, ideally, I really wouldn't like to bench, and that's Elliot Anderson, by the way. Yeah, I think ideally he's a start. Would you start with Automata or Njai? I would probably go for Automata. Just about. Penalty taker as well as Njai, but at home, I think Spurs are looking pretty poor right now. Start Njai or Thiago? I would go Iliman Njai. I think he's got a slightly better fixture. In fact, he's probably got a much better fixture considering how good Arsenal are. You've got 30 minutes until the deadline. Tell me why I shouldn't captain Saka. It's just minutes. Like I think his minutes could be reduced. If you think he has more than 80 mins, I think it's a great captaincy option. Chris says, hi Ross, it's my first year playing FPL. Your content has really helped me get to grips with everything while I was trying to find out what type of manager I am. Big love. I love that message, Chris, because I think that's the most important thing. Work out like what sort of manager you want to be. Do you want to take risks? Do you want to take hits? Do you want to be safe? Do you want to be long-term, short-term? That will help you make decisions more than anything. So yeah, that's a great message. And I'm glad I've been able to help you as well. Any news on the Saliba injury, my guy? Nothing, sadly. I think he said it's like a matter of days, Arteta. I have a feeling that they won't risk him and they'll save him for Villa. So I would guess that Saliba doesn't start, but I don't know. He could very easily start. Bench 1 of Anderson, Enzo, Pedro, Mateta. I'd honestly be tempted to bench João Pedro there, or I would want to start Elliot Anderson, Silem. My thinking was spread the funds to bench boost before the wild card. Yeah, that works. That works. I like the thinking. I can understand that. If Doku doesn't start, who to replace? No money in the bank. So if we get a leak that Doku doesn't start, I think Minter or Anderson. Is a Semenyo cap too punty? No, not at all. I think he could do really well. Love your stuff, mate. Thank you, Hugo. I appreciate that. Is FPL therapy returning this season? No plans at the moment, but you never know. I've just been so busy. It's been a really big weight off my shoulders not having to do it. And I never feel like you should feel like you have to make content. And I feel like I was getting to that point. Why does Hub still love Ahmad? I have no idea. I think he's fine, but I don't know why they love him so much. Good evening, Ross. Please tell me who you would have done right now what you would have done if you had 2 free transfers. I would have sold Senesi for O'Reilly and benched Anderson. Yeah, if I had one more free transfer, Senesi to O'Reilly, Anderson on the bench. Nice and easy. What about a free hit with no Haaland? I mean, if you want to take that risk, I don't hate it at all. I think O'Reilly starts, but I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We miss FPL therapy. I miss it as well. It's just way too much work and money for me to consistently stick to. But you never know if it might make a return in some form in the future. I will not rule it out at all. I'm playing free hit and have Salah. Really want to captain him because the points differential could be crazy. What do you think? Would you captain him on a free hit? I personally wouldn't captain Salah, but I would at least be tempted to own him. I'm not even sure that I definitely would own him, by the way. I wouldn't captain him. I think there are better captains. But I certainly would be tempted to at least own Salah. That doesn't mean that it should put you off, though. If you really want to captain him, you should captain him. Like, do what you want in FPL, not what someone else wants. And yeah, I would captain him if you fancy it. Not getting enough viewership, probs, which is fair. It was getting okay, but like, I won't give you the exact funds, but every FPL therapy episode, including studio costs, food, travel time, was costing upwards, like at least a few £100, if not more than that, per episode, FPL therapy. Plus, I would say on average, start to finish, doing the research, typing up the notes, travel and recording, FPL therapy took between 20 and 25 hours per episode. So it was 20 to 25 hours per episode of FPL therapy, plus like let's say around 400 plus pound like per episode. It's just a bit too much to do FPL therapy, sadly, because I loved it, but it just wasn't sustainable, which I kind of knew for a while, but I still did it because I loved it. But it's a lot of time, money, effort. Even if I had double the viewership, it still would have been a lot. Chris says, my 11 is Dubravka, Van Dijk, Timber, Richards. Okay, I've got your 11. A 1 free transfer. Fancy Bruno G for Saar. Love it. Bruno G is a nice differential. If you fancy that, I would absolutely go for it. Jean-Philippe Mateta, gut feeling. Captain Jean-Philippe Mateta, gut feeling, keen to get honest thoughts. Honest thoughts, if Mateta gets more than 70 minutes, he's a great captain. I just worry that it could be less than that. So, for that reason, I'm not tempted. But if your projection of his minutes is good, then I would go for it. And thank you for the support as well, Chris. Would you be tempted to do FPL therapy online? Maybe, but then it's just an FPL video at that stage. It's not really what... The point of FPL therapy was that it's in person, in a studio. Great, high-quality production. So it kind of feels like it loses what the whole point of it. You know, I'm supposed to get in the studio with people and discuss, so probably not. And I still have to do all of the research then. I don't have the travel, but still, the research takes so long. Like, you have to watch the extended highlights for every game, type up notes, look at stats. Like, it is a lot. Kukurea and Minter, or Timber and Elliot Anderson? Timber and Anderson, for me, is much better. Hi, pal, would you do Thiago to Watermada for a -4? No, I personally wouldn't. Start Ahmad over Welbeck after Hertzler's comments. I didn't actually see them, but yeah, I would still be tempted to do that anyway. I think Ahmad does start this one, and he does have some upside as well. Hi, Ross, I just joined. Any interesting news or leaks? Not as of right now, but we still do have 24 minutes, so maybe something will come. You're not buying Van Dijk, or who's replacing Senesi? I'm just not selling Senesi. I've got no free transfers left. I've already sold Saar to Bruno, and I'm not taking a hit. I'm just going to play Joachim Andersen. He might get DEFCON. I suppose there's a chance he scores a goal. You never know. He almost definitely won't keep a clean sheet, but crazier things that have happened than Fulham keeping a clean or him getting an attacking return. For what it's worth, I think Anderson probably gets me 2 points. I reckon he'll either concede 4+ goals or probably concede 2+, get booked, but I think he'll get DEFCON. So I reckon I'll get between 2 and 4 points from Joachim Andersen, which is fine. Gabriel/Saar to Timber/Anderson, -4, or Gabriel to Virgil. Depends who you would play if you don't take the -4, but I think that -4 looks great. I would probably just take the -4 hit. Red Sox. What's for dinner? I actually don't know. Need to discuss that with FPL Pickle, who, bless her, apparently is very hungry. She said to me over an hour ago. Bruno G will outscore Bruno F. It's possible. I hope not. Unless Bruno G gets like 30 points. And Bruno gets 25. I'm doing it. And Jai to Bruno for a hit with captaincy. Let's have some fun. Let's do it. I think I'm the captain Bruno as well. So let's be all in it together. I can't wait for, in 3 hours' time, HAALAND to score his 3rd goal of the evening. That's going to be fun, isn't it? Are you locked for captaincy? Let's say yes. I mean, there's still a small chance that I change it, but let's say yes. Go double Crystal Palace, Gay and Munoz, or bench Gay and start O'Reilly. I think I'd go all in on Palace. I still think Gay and Munoz independently are better than O'Reilly this week. Do you support or like any club in La Liga? Atletico versus Barca. I don't watch any La Liga. That's no disrespect. It's just like time, really. I barely have enough time to watch Premier League stuff. I'm just so busy. So no. But let me know if there is a club that you think I should follow a little bit more in La Liga. Why would you not sell Senesi and buy O'Reilly? Because it's for a -4 hit if I do that. And I don't think that O'Reilly is 4 points better than Joachim Andersen this week. Or at least I'm not convinced enough. Like, I would need to be certain that O'Reilly gets a clean sheet or attacking return. And I don't feel that way against Fulham away, so that's why. Any leaks so far? No, let me have a quick look though, but I've not seen anything so far. I'm sure if there was something, people would have said so in the chat. Nah, I can't see anything. Just seeing lots of people on the timeline captaining HAALAND. He's a scary man. He's a scary man. Thoughts on Nick Pope going forward? I mean, Pope is a sell. If you've got the free transfers, get it done. Do you think Richards will start? Gut instinct now tells me probably not, but I think it's very close. It's 50-50. The thing is, if he does start, he might not get 60. And if he doesn't start, he might come off the bench. But I just don't know. And I just don't think you can bench Richards unless you've got an insanely strong, deep squad where you've got a really good viable alternative. Like, I just don't think it's worth playing Rodon just in case Richards is benched, for example. I'd rather just start Richards and hope. Because if Richards does start, he's great. Remember your bench order. I'm actually happy with my bench order. I've got Kroupy first bench deliberately. Yeah, I think there's a chance Kroupy starts. And I don't think Rodon's great for this week anyway. Hey, Ross, should I start Van der Ven or Rodon? Ooh, that's very, very... I would be tempted to start Van der Ven. Yeah, I think they're both... Like, neither of them are that great for DEFCON. Neither of them have that much attacking threat. Maybe Van der Ven slightly more. I don't think either keep a clean sheet, but maybe Van der Ven. I do think Van der Ven long-term isn't the best option. So, like, if you've got transfers, you can always remove. That was a general statement. Okay, Sim. But yes, definitely look at your bench order. Especially midweek, actually. That is good advice. Just have a little check of your bench order. Make sure that you are happy with the ordering of the bench. Thoughts behind Bruno cap? I'm chasing, so debating it. West Ham are just pretty bad. Man United are better at home. Bruno's better at home. He's got DEFCON potential, assist threat, the odd chance to score goals as well. He's on penalties. He takes set pieces. He's great for bonus. Like, Bruno can get you bonus points without enough return. Like, he's done it so many times before, where he's got no assist, no goal, and still picks up bonus points. So I just feel like with Bruno, there's just a lot of ways that he can get you points. Maybe his ceiling isn't that high. Like, I don't actually know how many times this season he's got, like, double-digit returns. He's got a 10 twice and an 11 last week. So maybe he doesn't have the same ceiling. Like, Haaland can go and get you a 17-pointer. But I think Bruno's floor is usually pretty decent, is kind of the thought process. And I do think a double-digit return here isn't out of the question. Hi again, Ross. Let Jesus take the wheel and triple captain Munoz. Maybe Bruno is backup. I mean, triple captain Munoz would be wild, but I can understand why you'd want to captain him. So I guess by that logic. Yeah, I mean, if you fancy it, go for it. Hayden has become a RAP Tier 1 member. Thank you, Hayden. I appreciate that. I'll wait, but I have to go promptly after the deadline. No worries. I understand that. You could go now if you wanted to, my friend. You don't have to stay. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, can I ask you... I'm not even going to ask you to like. I mean, you can like it if you want, but can you just please subscribe? I would really appreciate that. Always very grateful for anyone that subscribes. Mr. MN Chuckster with the big boy super chat says, hi, Reece James 8-pointer and Saliba nothing. It was finally something went my way. Of course, yes, you started Reece James, didn't you? And my rank improved. We know if Saliba starts. Sorry if you already answered. I had to join a bit later today. Hope you and Pickle are having a great evening. Thank you very much. Well, I've not really seen Pickle, but I'm sure later we will. Do I know if Saliba starts? My prediction is no, but I don't have that much to back it up, other than just to say I think they'll want him for the Villa game. He's clearly not fully fit right now, and I don't know that they'll risk him for a midweek game at home. So my prediction is that Saliba doesn't start, but I don't have a huge amount of evidence for that. That's just my vibe that I'm getting. You could start him and risk it. I do think Saliba's the kind of player, he'll either start or just not come on. I don't think they'll bring him off the bench, but I suppose you never know. Elite MJ789 says, Captain Haaland, Mbeumo, Saka or Munoz. Chasing. I mean, if you're chasing, I would go Mbeumo from those options there. Use my last free transfer to sell Pope or just play Dubravka. If you've got a free transfer, I'd sell Pope, yeah. Sells Verbruggen, Sanchez, someone like that. Who is worth a -4 this week in midfield? I think only someone you think either you're going to captain or just has crazy upside. So probably Bruno would be the main one, or Mbeumo, or someone like that you feel really confident in for this week. Bench one of Njaya, Anderson, or Welbeck. Probably Welbeck, based on the fact that I think he's got the highest chance of being benched. I wouldn't bench Elliot Anderson. I think it would be Njaya or Welbeck, but probably Welbeck. You have got just over 15 minutes till the deadline. Make sure you get your team locked in. Think about captaincy. Think about vice-captaincy. Think about your bench order. If you're playing a chip, of course, make sure you've got that chip active as well. Any Man City team leaks? Not as of right now. I mean, team leaks recently have not been particularly common. Charlie said Saka is not in the training picks 8 minutes ago. I mean, Arsenal training picks are far from reliable, but there's not a lot I would do based on that unless you want to act on that, but I wouldn't be. But maybe just don't risk captaincy, which I probably would have recommended not risking anyway, but I don't know who Charlie is anyway, which Charlie that is. Hey Ross, bench one attacker, Saka, Bruno, Minter, Enzo, Cunha, JP, Watermada, Haaland. Wow, that is a benching headache and a half. I think you're probably looking at Minter there. Cunha is maybe the most likely to be benched, but I think if it was just concussion, which it sounds like it was, I think Cunha starts. So I would start Cunha. I would probably bench Minter out of those options. The closer the deadline gets, the more my heart gets faster without Haaland. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that for sure. Captain Mbeumo, Mateta, or Haaland? I would be between Mbeumo and Haaland. If you want to take a risk in Mbeumo, if you don't want to, then just go Haaland. Who is the best Senesi replacement? I've got Anderson, Richards, O'Reilly, Esteve as my other defenders. I think your defence sounds pretty cheap there, so I would be looking at Timber or Van Dijk. If you can afford Timber, great. If you can't afford either of those, probably Chow at the same sort of price. But when I look at that defence there, it probably needs another premium defender, and Shep. Why Bruno over Foden? I just preferred Bruno as an option. His minutes are more secure. And Chow or O'Reilly? I think I would go O'Reilly for the upside, but Chow, I think his minutes will be safer. I would lean O'Reilly just about, but it's very close. I agree that there is a chance that O'Reilly's benched for sure. Especially whilst Nuri is still here and he's not gone to AFCON. Danny Watkins, I've got your team. I have 2 free transfers. What do I do? So you don't have Sarr. You don't have Senesi, right? But you do have Reece James. But you've got Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Timber, Richards. So I play a 4 at the back. Fernandes, Rice, and Mbeumo. Haaland. You've got Gravenberch and Potts. I think Gravenberch to Anderson would be my chosen transfer there and play a 4-4-2. Yeah, 4-4-2, Gravenberch to Anderson. It sounds like Reece James is unlikely to start. Maybe you want to risk it, but I would just play a 4-4-2 there. Play Bowen or João Pedro. Minutes might be an issue for João Pedro. I think it is a chance, but I still think João Pedro starts, and I think he's better than Bowen. So I would start João Pedro. Terry with the super chat, but no message. Thank you anyway, Terry. Any City team leaks? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. My go-to, thanks for the midweek prompt. You're more than welcome, Terry. Thank you for the support, my friend. Mbeumo captain, not chasing, just best captain, in my opinion. Fair enough. Yeah. I listen, if I had Mbeumo, I'd be tempted, but I don't. Nshep says, did you miss my super chat? I literally answered it like 30 seconds ago, so if you go back, I did answer. Hayden, again, with the super chat, but no message. Thank you anyway. Right, you've got just over 12 minutes until the deadline. Jake says, hi Ross, my team is Raya, O'Reilly. Okay, I've got your team. But I have Anderson, Richards, and Njaya on the bench. Would you keep this or start one over someone else? So defense, O'Reilly, Munoz, Van Dijk looks good. Semenyo, Minter, Enzo, Bruno, Haaland, Mateta, Watermada. No, I think you've got it spot on. Yeah, I mean, that is a stacked bench, to be fair, Jake. A lot of other people won't have a bench that looks like that. Yeah, it's stacked, but I think you've made the right decisions there. I don't think I could justify starting any of those other options. All right, where was I? Is Jeremy being overlooked? What, Pino? Maybe slightly. Yeah, I mean, his minutes should be pretty good, especially with Sarr injured. It's just how does that Crystal Palace attack look? And are there better options that you could go for? Like, even when everyone's been fit and firing, his output's not really been there. I've not really looked into his data and stuff, so maybe he is being overlooked. Eze or Gakpo? I would go Gakpo if it's to buy. To start, I mean, still maybe Gakpo. I like Eze, I do, but I do think that one performance has turned a lot of heads, which, by the way, it was an unbelievable performance, but I think I would prefer to buy Gakpo than Eze, personally. I think I probably prefer Declan Rice to Eze as well. Need a Saar replacement. I don't own Enzo or Foden. I don't think I'd be looking at Enzo right now. I like Foden a lot. I like Gakpo. I like Minter. I like Anderson. Depends how much money you have, and it depends how much money you need for future moves as well. I can't comment without seeing a lot more info than that. What chips do you have? How much money will you need to upgrade a defender? Do you have Saar? Do you have Senesi? Senesi. Do you have Pope? Like, these are all the things that I would need to look into to give you better advice, basically. Sartha, thank you for becoming a Rap Tier 2 member. I appreciate that. Start Reinders or Enzo. I would go Enzo. Keep João Pedro or take a -4 hit. I mean, I would just keep João Pedro. Kashao says, Njai to Foden from -4. I wouldn't do that. Do I think Gordon starts? I would probably lean towards yes, just. But I don't know. Thank you again for the super chat, Terry. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Bench one of Semenyo, Enzo, or Walter Marder. I would probably there bench Enzo. Just. But I don't like benching Enzo. I would hope there's someone else you could bench. But yeah, it's tough. A mark of respect, Ross. Thank you, Terry. It's very kind of you, mate. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for the support. What does to chase mean? I think when people say they're chasing, it just means like you're either really low down in your mini leagues or you're chasing rank. Basically, it means you've not had a good start if someone says they're chasing. They're chasing a better rank, a better position in their mini leagues, basically. And I think as soon as you feel like you are chasing, the temptation is to go super different, which I understand, by the way. Like if I was ranked 5 million, I would absolutely not captain Haaland, for example. But the closer you get to a good rank, the more you feel like, actually, I want to protect. Like, if you're top of your mini-league, you're thinking, hang on a second, should I just captain Haaland and play safe? There's a lot of psychology that goes into FPL, you know? It's not just picking players. It's how you manage your own season, how you manage your own emotions, how you manage your own decision-making as well. When to use the wildcard? That's team-dependent, but I think earlier rather than later. I wouldn't keep it for 19, personally. I'd be looking at 15, 16, 17. Unless your team looks great already, then I understand it. Remember that you get topped up to 5 free transfers between game week 15 and 16. So everyone going into game week 16 deadline will have 5 free transfers to use. So remember that, plan around that as well. Nico Williams or Chow? I like Nico Williams a lot, but I would go Chow. I think Newcastle's defence are better than the Forest defence. Hi Ross, Foden captain. No issue with Foden captain if you fancy it. I'm not going to put anyone off of going for a differential cap. Do you think later games in the week would benefit anyone, or is Tuesday and Thursday irrelevant? I mean, it does give them the extra break, but like if Man United get an extra break, so do West Ham. It's not like one team's getting the extra break and the other's not. So I wouldn't let the day of the week that a player plays make you more likely to pick them. Unless like psychologically, like it is nice that if Haaland does blank, I've got my captain still to play on Thursday. But obviously the flip side, if Haaland twats in a 17-pointer tonight, it's a long wait to see if your captain can get anywhere close. So there are pros and cons, psychologically speaking. But like tactically, technically, objectively, I don't think the day of the week that a player plays should impact your decision-making. Bruno versus Mbeumo is super close. Like if you have both of them, it depends what you want. Bruno's got more routes to points, could scam you a penalty, takes set pieces along with Bryan Mbeumo. And Bryan Mbeumo, like I say, takes corners, takes the odd free kick, but mainly corners. Isn't on penalties, but has a lot more open play goal threat. Like from open play, if you tell me one of these scores, one of them doesn't, you'd normally back Bryan Mbeumo to be the one to score. So it depends what you want. I also think Bruno normally has a higher floor, just because he's so creative and he has DEFCON potential. Quite often he'll give you a single assist or the DEFCON points. So like, it feels like a Bruno 4 or 5 pointer is quite possible, even if he's not played at his best. I think it's a very close one, though, in Mbeumo versus Bruno. Right, you've got under 7 minutes until the deadline. Don't miss it. Again. Where was I? Start Dewsbury Hall instead of Soboslai or João Pedro. I really like Dewsbury Hall, but I don't think I would bench either of those. No, I'd probably just bench Dewsbury Hall. 2 free transfers, Senesi to O'Reilly, but Njai to Anderson or Minter. I think I would honestly go Elliot Anderson, save the money, and use it elsewhere. But if you feel like you really are not going to need the money anytime soon, I'd probably then go for Yankuba Minter. Like, I think it is probably worth the saving, unless you just think your team's stacked and I'm not going to need the money. Sarr to Bruno or Gakpo, already having Burmo. I still prefer Bruno to Gakpo, personally. Just to play devil's advocate, would we be just captaining Haaland if he didn't blank in the last two? I don't think it's the blanks as much as, like, last week he looked a bit off it. City looked a bit off it. So I think that's partially the reason. But yeah, obviously, like, if Haaland had scored braces in the last 2 weeks, I think we'd all probably be on captain Haaland. But if there is going to be a drop, there is going to be a drop-off at some point. Like, Haaland wasn't going to continue scoring, like, multiple goals per game, as we saw last season. So maybe this is the start of the drop-off. Or maybe it was just an off week. I don't know. Definitely worth playing devil's advocate with that stuff, though, Ben. Aaron says, I have to play Guiu and Esteve -4 for... Sorry, have to play Guiu and Esteve -4 for Chow. What on earth is happening? Have to play Guiu and Esteve -4 for Chow and Anderson. I'm a bit confused. I assume you're sending Sarr, or play Esteve and just get Anderson or Enzo. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. I would probably just play Esteve and just play Anderson. Like, I don't think it's worth a -4 when you've got a defender that plays and could get DEFCON. Like, absolutely, Esteve could get a 4 points this week. He could even keep a clean sheet. You never know. What's a good amount of points rank to have right now? I don't think it matters, but I think anything inside the top million is absolutely fine right now. I think inside the top 100k, you're absolutely flying. And I think if you're in the top, like, 2 mil, it's still okay. I think if you're outside top 2 million at this point, you probably need a lot of good fortune. You need to nail your chips and stuff like that. But yeah. Buy Foden or Gakpo. Foden versus Gakpo is a very close call. I'm not going to say that it's not. So, have you had a good day, Ross? I've had a good day. I've had a busy day as always, but I've been good, thank you. Less than 5 minutes until the deadline. Less than 5 minutes. I think we're going to leave it there with the team. I think we're good to go. Start Tavernier or Bruno G. Ooh, I like Tavernier, you know. I think I'd go Tavernier. But I think Bruno G is great as well. Can understand both options. Van de Ven or Rodon? That's a 50-50, man. I mean, neither likely to get you too much. Flip a coin. Flip a coin. Madam Pickle is captaining who? I don't know. She's probably tweeted. I think she's captaining Haaland. Last I heard. Start Burn or Richards? I would just about lean Richards, but I mean, there is a small chance Richards doesn't start. I'm a Leeds fan, so Rodon. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if it is that simple. I mean, a part of the reason I'm tempted to maybe not captain Haaland twice. I've got Joachim Anderson. Let's just go all in on the hope that Anderson somehow hauls for me. I've not got any West Ham defenders, you know. Why Dubravka not Pope? Pope's out for 6 games, so Pope's not playing anyway. I could start Pope technically, but I just prefer looking at it with my flagged players out of my 11. But yeah, you could start Pope if you want, but he's not going to play. Start Rodgers or Njaya? Probably Iliman Njaya for the penalties. But I think probably from open play, I slightly prefer Rodgers this week. You've got less than 3 minutes till the deadline. Welbeck or Dewsbury Hall? Oh, probably Dewsbury Hall because you at least know that he's definitely going to start. Start Richards or Minter? I think with the slight doubts around Richards' mins, I'd probably start Yankuba Minter ahead of him. Start Dewsbury Hall or Njaya? That's a difficult one because Njaya's got the pens, but Dewsbury Hall's been better recently. I think I'd still start the pen taker there, but it's close. Last minute free hit advice. Just lock your team in is the last minute advice. Target fixtures you want. More importantly, just make sure your team looks okay. You've not got time to take my opinions on board. Bench Krupi or Enzo? Definitely bench Krupi, start Enzo. I see a Krupi start and goal. If you see it, go for it. I'm happy to have him as my first sub, in case he does, but I wouldn't be starting him ahead of any of my players, personally. Saka cap? Yeah, go for it if you fancy it. O'Reilly or João Pedro first bench? I can't believe you're benching either of them, Sim, but I'd have João Pedro, then O'Reilly. That's a crazy stacked bench, though. Bruno or Saka cap? I mean, if they both got 90 minutes, it's close, but I think Bruno's expected minutes are always higher than Saka's, especially in a week like this, so I would go Bruno. I bet Bruno ends up getting like 60 mins now, after we've said all of this. Start Thiago or Joachim Anderson. I would go Thiago in that case. I mean, Joachim Anderson's probably more likely to get you 3, Thiago 2, but Thiago's also more likely to get you 6 plus. Like, I can't see Anderson getting more than 3 points. Thiago or Njai, I would just about lean the midfielder with the slightly better fixture, so Njai. Any news on Phil Foden's start? I haven't seen anything. I can quickly scan with the minute we have left. But I haven't seen any team news on Man City. Yeah, I can't see anything. You've got 30 seconds till the deadline. Get your teams locked in. Stop asking questions. Rodon or Thiago to start? I'd go Thiago, personally. Dewsbury Hall or Minter? That's a 50-50, but I would lean towards Yankuba. Rodon or Thiago? Yep, Thiago to that person as well. Mainu's got to play someday. Yeah, but not ahead of Bruno Fernandes. It'll be ahead of Casemiro, if anything. Or he'll come off the bench for someone and then they'll move around. Right. There we go. We are done, though. By the time you hear my voice, we're probably done. Let me tweet my team out. Right. Yep. Cool. Another deadline coming thick and fast at the moment, right? Let's tweet that out. We are locked. Any Georaptor after the deadline? I'll let the deadline stream decide. Well, I won't do it straight away. I'll at least give it a bit of time. So yeah, we'll wait for the lineups and then I'll see. Let me send that out. I swear, if Mateta doesn't start, I don't think he'll be benched, but I do think he'll probably not play too many minutes. Wow. Ben Krellin's free hit team is very nice. I'm very jealous. I've just seen it. Right, paste. Team. Post. Glad I bought your membership. At least I got my doubts answered here, unlike other channels. You're more than welcome. It is tough, to be fair, on a deadline stream, but I'm glad I was able to answer for you. Cool. Done. Ross, what TV shows or movies have you been watching recently? We've been watching Suits, so we're on like season 6 or 7 of Suits. I've watched it once or twice before. It's Pickle's first time watching it, but I think it's great. Max has been a member for 26 months. Thank you, Max. Just missed the deadline. Sad times. Can you bring positional matchups for captaincy into your next video, please? We can look at bringing that back, potentially. If this team scores above 170 points, will you propose to Pickle? If this team scores over 100 points, I'll propose to Pickle. How about that? Speaking of, let me call Pickle, see if she'll listen. She listened this time. I've called you twice during the stream.
I was having a shower.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
I feel bad because you said you were hungry like over an hour ago. I was expecting you to come back and then we'd talk about it, but you just didn't come back. So.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
We'll sort out dinner very soon. Are we cooking or ordering?
I don't know. I don't really want to smell like chicken.
You don't want to smell like chicken? What do you mean? Wait, we cook? Yeah. I can cook if you want.
Only because I just wash my hair and stuff.
No, I can cook. It's not like I've been working for the last few hours,
No,
you know?
but
No, it's fine.
No, if you cook, I'll still smell like chicken. And
Oh, so you're saying you want to order something just so that you don't smell? First world problems, eh? I did say if this team scores over 100 points, I'll propose to you.
Oh.
So you better hope for a Bruno 5 goals.
I don't want Bruno to haul, though.
You're destroying my green screen.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh, you can see me.
I see a shadow.
Oh,
Yeah, Harry Potter pajamas. Harry Potter. Crack the whip, get in the kitchen. Don't think that's politically correct.
Oh, I just realised you could see me in my wet hair.
I think you saw a bit of your head and hair, yeah. Oh, that's perfect timing to get a notification come through. We need to sort our club team out. And also, I've had a stinker in club, guys, I'll be honest, because my issue is I had Nick Pope as my only goalkeeper, so I've had to loan Donnarumma in just for this week. Here we go. Yeah, I had Nick Pope as my only option. See, I've loaned in Donnarumma. Now the team's actually looking, I mean, pretty stacked, if I have to be honest. I might go Walter Mardo over João Pedro.
Oh, wait.
And I also want to start Cunha a little bit as well. Maybe I bench Saka just because I have him in FPL. So it's like, if he does well, my FPL team will be happy. Don't know. By the way, there is a link down below if you want to check out Club. Club are the sponsor of the Deadline streams. They're absolute bloody legends. It's a great mobile game as well. As I always say, I'm in the game. I'm an investor within Formation Games who created the game. FPL Pickle is in the game as well herself. So it's worth checking out. And also, who else is in the loan market right now? No one I want. Yeah. Did I win? I lost last week. I actually lost for the first time in a little while last week.
I won last week. So happy.
But anyway, we're going to meet with Manny now. If you can guess any player in the Premier League, that's it. That's what you have to do. Guess any player in the Premier League. This is the way that you get players in club, is you meet with Manny.
I'm going to say Paquetá.
So this can be any player in the Premier League. Bruno better watch this stream. He better, yeah. He better do. Who'd you say, Paquetá? Mm-hmm. That stinks. I'm going to go...
Didn't say it was going to be a good one.
I'm going to go... Tielemans. Tielemans. Tap to reveal. Base. Core. Don't be a core. Rare. Be an elite. Rare defender. Okay. Don't really need a defender. Man City. Is this O'Reilly?
That'd be sick. Oh.
John Stones. John Scones. I don't really want John Scones. Reject.
Not ideal. Can you show them my team?
Well, your club team.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's going to win?
This is Pickle's club team. I mean, my team's better than yours. Your team looks like an FPL team. You know what I mean? Like you could imagine that actually being someone's team in FPL. Anyway, there is a link down below if you want to check club out. Also, make sure to join my league. I always forget to actually bring my league code up these days. My league code... I can actually share an invite link. Oh, sorry. I'll just copy this. Copy... Does that copy paste work here? Oh, it does. Exciting. Spam. And you can't block me because it's my own live stream.
Is the stream that behind?
It's not. It sort of like gets a bit caught up. You should have left him unrejected and waited since we'll see the City lineup before deadline. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, make sure to join. Who is top for the season? Manassan? I'm 4th overall in club. Overall, out of everyone. I wouldn't even know. I'm so far off. So you are Fantasy S... Oh yeah, it's you, isn't it? You got the same name here, yeah. Very nice. Fair play. Where are you going? You off?
Did you need me?
No, you go. We need to just have a think about dinner. That's your job.
Anything you don't want?
Whatever you want, my sweet pea.
No, that's not true. No, don't lie on the stream. What do you not want?
Happy wife, happy life. Whatever you want, my sweet pea.
No.
My sweet, sweet pea, whatever you want.
I'm not having that. I'm not thinking about it.
No, my sweet pea, whatever you would like is what I want. Fine. Your happiness makes me happy.
Tortilla.
No, I'll get that if you want, if that's what you want.
No, I was only joking, but I will eat that.
Right. The Rizzler. Thank you. I do try. She'll say she doesn't want that. Yeah, true. Taking notes. Guys, this is it. No, she loves tortilla, which is like Mexican. Well, and I like Mexican food, by the way, but tortilla is pretty gross. The thing is, like a good tortilla is really good, but you know, like there are some takeaways in restaurants where if it's good, it's great, and if it's bad, it's really bad. Like, I don't like that. I like a solid 7 out of 10 or above on every single one. Ross wants chicken pad thai. Oh, I would actually kill a chicken pad thai. Actually, yeah, that sounds good. Their burrito bowls are class. Sometimes, like in restaurant, yes, but when you order it, sometimes it's bad. That's the issue. McDonald's is a bit like that. Burger, like there are some like what's a good one? What's always pretty good? I don't know. Nando's, I would say, is also really hit and miss. Like you can get a banging Nando's where everything's crispy, and then you can get a really bad Nando's. Have you ever tried Indian food? Indian food's my favorite food. If we could afford it and it wasn't too unhealthy, we'd probably order Indian food like 3 times a week. That's our favorite food, is Indian food. It's just so good, man. Oh, love it. On behalf of America, I apologize for our food exports. Apology not accepted. No, I'm joking, it's fine. Who are the games, by the way? Who are the games on at? So it's 7th. So we're waiting for the lineups. Man City's lineup, Fulham's lineup, Everton and Bournemouth. So I have Haaland, Anderson, Enjoy and Semenyo. They're the ones that I need to hope start. Have you tried Nepali food? I don't think so. When is the deadline? The deadline was 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago the deadline was. Chipotle is good. I've actually not tried Chipotle before, I don't think. Oh, I'm very hungry. Very, very hungry. Try Liechtenstein food. I've not tried Liechtenstein food either. Chipotle gave me food poisoning. Oh dear. I'm all about the Toon versus Spurs game. Yeah, but we won't get the lineup until 7 for that game. Yeah. Nepal is the only country with a non-rectangular flag. Is that true? Nepal flag. I guess it is, yeah. It's a cool flag. That's the only country in the world. Interesting. Surprised more countries don't have a non-rectangular flag. That team looks like a struggle this week. I think my team looks great other than Anderson and Dubravka, which I guess is 2 of the players, but other than that, I think it looks pretty good. That's not true. No, it's not Switzerland. I guess, yeah, Switzerland square. I guess square or rectangular, you could say then. Yeah, Switzerland square. Do you get hangry, Ross? Oh, terribly. Yeah, terribly. I would say that's the only time I get angry is when I'm hungry. Or hot. Hot and hungry. Oof. You don't want to test me when I'm hot and hungry. If I'm cold and full, there's no way I get angry. You can do whatever you want. It wouldn't make me angry. A square is a rectangle, is it? Is a square technically a rectangle? What is the definition of a rectangle? Define rectangle. Is a square a rectangle? Yes, a square is a rectangle. A square is technically a rectangle, apparently, according to Google. But a rectangle isn't a square. Yes, agreed. So really, whoever said that the Nepal flag is the only one that isn't a rectangle, they're technically correct. From FPL to geometry real fast. We talk about all sorts. Post-deadline, anything's up for grabs, really. You're welcome. Thank you. It's a good chat. We can end this poll. No one cares about FPL now. Hello from Slovenia. Hello. You're definitely a hide under a sunbed in the shade on holidays. No, absolutely not. I tan really well, believe it or not. I very rarely burn. Apart from my egg. My egg is prone to burning. No hair to support me, you know? Raptor, do you play chess? No, I played a few years ago a little bit, but I don't regularly play chess. I know how it works. That would be about it. I learned about 3 openings when I used to play, but didn't know how to close out games. I wasn't very good. Harvey Specter or Lewis Litt? Harvey, obviously. Right, we've got 1 minute until lineups. Let's get over there. I think Man City are the main team we want to check out, aren't they? Do a live Geoguessr? I could maybe do a couple of rounds of Geoguessr. Also, there'll be a GeoRaptor video tomorrow morning. So for everyone that wants more Geoguessr, there'll be a video live in the morning. Also, I've uploaded so many videos. There's a good chance that you haven't watched all of them. So if you are wanting more Geoguessr content, then go and check that out. Right. Cool. A lot of the main assets start. Nico O'Reilly starts. Reinders starts again. Foden, Doku, Haaland. Most of the FPL assets other than Shirky start. Donnarumma starts, of course. Yeah, Gvardiol. Okay. So that is pretty much full strength. There's no one other than Shirky that I think people would own. Shirky would have been a bad transfer in a couple of days ago then. Fulham. Joachim Anderson, Raul Jimenez. Josh King on the bench. If you were relying on Josh King for some reason, he doesn't start. Then Bournemouth and Everton, right? Bournemouth. Does Krupi start? Krupi does start. Instead of Evan Nilsson. Tavernier doesn't start. Oh, that's an interesting team. So Tavernier and Evan Nilsson on the bench. Semenyo and Krupi start. Oh, wow. I bet Krupi's going to haul on my bench. There is going to be a Krupi haul on my bench. Keane not in the Everton squad. Wow.
Did you say Krupi starts?
Mm-hmm. Why?
I would have bought him. Remember, I was saying that he starts.
I think it's just a one-off start, though.
Nah, Evan Nilsson's terrible next game.
Keane's not in the squad, which is interesting. So they've got Garner at right back, Tarkovsky and O'Brien as centre-backs. Iliman Ndiaye starts, Dewsbury Hall starts. Interesting. Semenyo with Krupi is going to be dangerous, by the way, without Evan Nilsson stinking up the gaff. Cool. Have a look at my big head whilst I sort out Geoguessr then. Geoguessr. I feel like this is becoming a part of the stream now, isn't it? Bookmarks. I've done that, and then then that. Then I need to do that. I've never seen Geoguessr. You wait. You're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. View. Enter full screen. Okay. So if I do that now, yeah, hello. There we go. We're ready. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to just play like offline? Geoguessr. What sort of Geoguessr? Blink mode? Okay, your options. Blink mode. Just offline. Jules. Looks just like you. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's me. Jules? Okay, I wouldn't play ranked Jules, though. I'll play Jules, fine. Unranked? I'll put an MPZ on as an option as well. Can't get out of Gold League due to cheaters. Yeah, people do cheat a lot. Just don't play on moving. If you don't play on moving, cheating is quite difficult because you don't always spawn in front of signs. Like on moving, people would cheat. But on no move, like sometimes you can't cheat because it's just... I'm not going to play ranked because it's cheating, really, because people in the chat will help and stuff like that. So something that lets me learn some good metas. Well, offline's probably better for learning. Right, I'm going to run a very quick poll. Start a poll. What do you want me to do? Jules, offline, teach you metas. Other. This is Geoguessr. I'll link you my channel so that you can check it out after if you want to. But basically, it's a game where you're dropped in. Do you know what? Let me show you whilst we're waiting and doing the thing. You're dropped into a random place in the world. I'll click this like now. And essentially, I'm trying to multitask. You have to guess where you are in the world. So like you're just dropped into a random place like there. There's my channel. God, that took way too long to do. And you just have to try and guess where you are. And obviously you can get better at it as well. I've linked my channel. I will pin it as a message as well. Right. So this is an example. What's the link for this game? Just type in Geoguessr. I mean, I can get you a link. One sec. This is the link if you want to just play. Creepy starting, by the way, Ross. I know. I saw that. Well, at least I've got a good first sub then, if anything happens. So, we'll have a look. We'll look round. I mean, immediately off the back, this isn't a particularly easy round. My first thought was Brazil. Brazil is still absolutely possible. Is that the Colombian? I don't think that is the Colombian cross, or is it? Yeah, Brazil probably feels most likely. Car-wise, yeah, car sort of does fit. It does look like the Colombian cross, though. I think maybe that's just a cross. Okay, you see these blue blue tanks on top of the roof. You get these quite a lot in Brazil. I would say Brazil feels quite possible. Paraguay is an option. By the way, Paraguay got recently added to Geoguessr, which is intriguing. I would say, I mean, this could be Paraguay in all fairness. I don't think so, but it's possible. I think the Paraguay is a truck. Could be Asia. It could be Asia. Don't think so, though. I would go kind of somewhere in Brazil. I don't know where. I'll be honest. Yeah. I do worry about Colombia. I don't think that's the Colombian cross, but it's possible. Ecuador, is Ecuador, Colombia, or Brazil? I'd be surprised if it's not. It could be Arge. I don't think it's Arge, though. Okay, it was Brazil. It was the wrong part of Brazil that I went for, but it was Brazil. Look, Brazil is such a big country, by the way. Mental. Okay. Well, this is an interesting one. So, sun's in the north. So we are southern hemisphere. This looks like Chile or Arge. Would fit with a car as well. Yeah, just Chile or Argentina. Also, you might not even be able to see it, but that stop sign says P-A-R-E, Pare, which is quite common in South America. So this is probably Argentina based on the vegetation, the buildings, the fact that it looks slightly more cold. Whereabouts in Arge is interesting. I probably wouldn't have this too far south. There is always a world in which this is Chile, but I just don't see it. Don't call it Arge. Okay, Argentina. Sorry, I'm not allowed to shorten anything. Yeah, I would go probably somewhere around there. Oh, it's just over, actually, just into Uruguay there. Okay. It's on the Uruguay-Brazil border. We weren't far off, to be fair. I mean, if you zoom out on the map, we're fairly close, but it wasn't actually Argentina. Interesting. That was Uruguay. Too flat for Chile. There are some parts of Chile which are quite flat, though. Like, if you were to go inside Santiago, it wouldn't look... it would look quite flat as well. Right on the border there. Okay. Okay, this is an interesting round. I think that says there .be, which is Belgian domain. So I think this is Belgium. But I tell you what, my vibe wasn't Belgium at all. I mean, I probably would have gone France. I don't know what the Belgian poll looks like, but I mean, I guess that fits for Belgium. .be is Belgium. So, we're in Belgium. It's as simple as that. I'd probably go slightly closer to France. We're there. Okay, it was the other side. It was southern Belgium, but it was on the west. Oh, are we lagging? Why is my Geoguessr lagging out? It's not loading. Oh. That was weird. Fun round. Oh, the 4 dashes. The 4 dashes. Which country have the 4? So this is probably Northern Europe. Or I would go Nordics normally for this kind of round. Yeah, that sign fits. Very northern looking. Very flat. So, like, Sweden is a lot flatter than Norway and Finland. I'm not saying Sweden is a flat country by any means. It's Canada? Don't think it's Canada. Could be. Don't think so, though. We don't actually have... I can't see EU blue on anything here. Car is interesting. Maybe this is Baltic. We're somewhere around here. I think. Like, I would go... Lith, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Sweden. I guess there's a chance of like Denmark, Poland. Yeah, Canada wouldn't. Canada wouldn't have these pedestrian signs, by the way. Do you know what's interesting? This pedestrian sign has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one's got 4, which is quite weird. I don't think this is the Netherlands. I don't know. I'm gonna go Latvia or Estonia, but I think it could be Sweden, Finland as well. It was Norway. Okay, that's a difficult round. It was over in Norway. For anyone that said Norway, fair play. This has been a difficult like seed, I would say, and it's not getting too much easier. I mean, it's been pretty brutal all around. I'd say we're in Canada or US here. I mean, given the crazy amount of these birch trees here, it's got to be northern US or Canada. I wonder about... I mean, like, so these trees here, like, they just look northern more than anything. But in terms of where, I'm a bit unsure. I mean, this could be British Columbia. It could also be over in, like, Ontario way. It really reminds me of Washington and Oregon. Like, these trees here, like these thinner trees that you see. I can't remember what these are called, but looks a bit like that. I don't know. I think west. I would go like BC, Washington, Oregon. It was BC. Okay, British Columbia. I think I just about went in British Columbia. Yeah, so I went right on the border. It felt very west to me. So I was just a little bit too far south. But that's fine. Wasn't a great score. 17.4k. Do you guys think Chow starts? I think so. Can you explain why they look like that rather than just saying they look like that? Not massively. No. Not massively. I think this is better than doing duels. I think it's too stressful doing duels on stream. So we've got palm trees, we've got all white road lines, and we're driving on the right. So I mean, putting that all together, you'd have to think Philippines. I think this is also a partially concrete road. So concrete road, very Asian looking vegetation, all the palms. And driving on the right. So if we were driving on the left, it could be Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia. With all white road lines, you'd normally send Malaysia. But obviously, we're driving on the right here, which rules out most of those. They're not palms. What are they called then? What is that if that's not a palm? I'm not. That's not me being sarcastic. It might not be a palm. I thought they were palm trees. But these trees, looks very tropical. I'm in Manila at the moment. I would guess near from what I've seen so far. Yeah. I mean, Manila's up here, right? So it could be Manila. I would go a little bit further south, probably. They're coconut trees. Is it not called a coconut palm? I thought that was called a coconut palm. I think they are called coconut palms. Google it. Anyway, we're in the Philippines. It's down south, anyway. It's a very difficult country to region guess, Philippines, but... I'm sure they could... Wait, let me... Coconut palms. They are called coconut palms. A coconut is a member of the palm family. There we go. They are indeed palm trees. Anyway, it was the Philippines. Let's go next. Okay, right, let's go through it. So, really barren looking, which is interesting. We've got an upside down V sign. And we've got a green, like America's looking sign. So I think putting that all together, this is probably southern US, you'd say. Probably. I mean, we're probably looking in this region somewhere. I don't think I like Texas too much. I think I would probably go... maybe even a little bit further up. Like around here? What do you guys think? I mean, I don't know the US too well. But this certainly feels like southern US. I wouldn't say Mexico, just based on the fact that this sign here looks like it says Old Duke or Old something. Like looks English. I think that says something Avenue. Is there a chance this is the US? This is Canada, is the other option. Like northern... Like, is this actually like, you get some rounds in Canada that look a bit like this. I would go somewhere around Utah if I was guessing. I'll go like here. It was Idaho. Okay, much further north than I thought. Interesting. Okay. I didn't think it was quite as south as New Mexico, like Arizona, but I wouldn't have gone as north as Idaho. How the hell can you see that writing? You can sort of make out. I mean, my screen's probably a little bit blurrier for me than it is for you. There we go. Anyway, it was a fine guess, I think. This is a fun round, man. Okay. Where are we? I have a rough idea, I think, but I mean that's a tough looking round. Where do you think this is? UK? I mean, UK is possible, I suppose. I don't think this is the UK. Well, it's definitely feasible. So I think Central Europe feels the most likely. I was thinking Czechia. I suppose there is a world in which this is France or Germany. I'm thinking maybe Western Czechia. It could absolutely be a UK round. I don't feel it. Just looking at these trees a bit. I think if I was in a duel and I was just going off gut feeling, I would go Czechia, thinking it could be France, Germany, Poland. Wouldn't like Hungary have a lot of forests that look a little bit like this? So I would go around here. Poland, okay, that was one of the ones we mentioned. We were one country off. It was indeed Poland. Anyone that guessed Poland, spot on. It was a good one. Yeah, it was right near Warsaw, actually. Okay. So this one here is very likely to be India, I think, just off the back of it being white road lines. So like normally if you were in the Americas, you'd see yellow. And it's a thing that we call like crap cam, which just basically means like you can see how blurry it is. Only certain countries have that. Cambodia, Nigeria, Ecuador, India. Guys, what countries am I missing that can have crap cam? India, Cambodia, Nigeria, Ecuador, Nepal. Is there anywhere else that could have that, like the really bad camera quality? I think those are the main ones. Egypt, okay. Wow, you're a pro. So Sri Lanka, can it? Okay, makes sense. Anyway, I think this is India. And I would go fairly far north. I wouldn't be surprised if we're up Madhya Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh. We could even be further north than that. I mean, is there a world in which this is southern? Yeah. Yeah, crap cam. Literally, it is called... that's the term we use, is crap cam. It's like just so low quality. Like, look at this. If I zoom in, like, you can't make out anything, really. Roads are too nice to be that far north. What's it? How far south do you think, then? I think when I'm in doubt, I often go around Madhya Pradesh, so I'm going to go around there, but I don't know. Oof. Oof. Guys, we've got a Madhya Pradesh region guess there. There you go. It was Madhya Pradesh. Yeah, just looked a little bit more northern than southern, but that was also a bit lucky. I'm from India and your guess is kind of accurate. Thank you, I appreciate that. Cool. So we've got some text to go off as well. So, driving on the left rules out some countries. You've got double yellow center lines as well. And then what you've got here is a really fun poll. This is the Thai poll. Now, you can see a similar one in Sri Lanka as well, but usually the language will help you. I've not got like a massive bit of language to zoom in on. So you've got some language here. But yeah, this is Thailand, basically. Double yellow center lines, driving on the left. It looks like Asia, and you've got a Thai pole there. So, we're in Thailand, would be, I'm pretty sure. In terms of where, so you look at the vegetation normally, and this doesn't feel too far south. I would kind of go for a middle guess here. Okay, it was quite far north, actually, but we were just in. I mean, we were right on the border, actually, with Cambodia, but we were in Thailand. What does the Thai pole look like? It's this one here. I can show you. Just this. It's like square with pinholes all the way through it. That's a Thai pole. There is a similar one in... You can get one in Cambodia, which looks a bit the same. Sri Lanka also have a similar-ish pole. But yeah, this is the Thai pole. If you see this and you're driving on the left and you see language which looks Thai, then you're in Thailand. So, there we go. Wasn't the best region guess, that was further north. Okay, that was fine. We'll go again. Keep playing. Oh, this is fun. We've got... Is this a trekker? Or is this a car? Maybe it is a car. Hello. She's looking at this like, what is this? This guy's probably just been for a waz in the forest. So, can I make out what that says? Not really. So I think Northern Europe is possible. I think... Yeah, I probably think Northern to Central Europe. Like, if I was to guess straight off, like, I think it could be anywhere around Czechia, Austria, Slovakia. I also think Poland's possible. I don't think as much Nordic. I mean, it's possible, but I didn't feel that. And I also didn't feel too far south. So I think, like somewhere around here. I thought France was possible at first, but, like, maybe not. I mean, is this possibly the UK? Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I just seen someone in the chat said Scotland. I could see that being the case. Do you know what? The more I look at this, the more I do wonder, could this be a UK round? Can't really see. Maybe then, maybe France? If it feels like the UK, but we're unsure. Japan? Like, I genuinely could see Japan, you know? like some parts of Japan do look almost... Oh, I'm gonna go... What was my vibe, man? My vibe was France. I'm gonna go France. My vibe was France off the bat. But, yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it was somewhere else in Europe. Wouldn't be surprised if this was the UK. Okay. Didn't get that at all. That was Sweden. Tough. Didn't vibe. I ruled out the Nordics pretty happily. They didn't feel very Swedish, but I guess that's, yeah, still possible. Cool. Difficult round, that. I mean, I'll leave it looking like this. You should be able to get this one. I'm trying to work out if there are any other clues for you if there weren't flags. I mean, the mountains are quite notable as well. Like, I would say that this is probably right up in the corner here. You see quite mountainous areas. So you've obviously got, like, right tucked in here, you've got mountainous areas. But then Oman is super mountainous. So I wonder if this is close to the Oman border. Where are the... So the mountains are to our east. Oh, mountains to our east. Imagine being a troll round, but I think it is near the border. I mean, how close to the border do we want to go? Mountains to our east. That could work, like... Can I road around here? How close are we to the ocean, though? What's the road direction? Driving on the right, but they all drive on the right pretty much. I mean, they're huge mountains. I'm going to go around here. Okay, it was right up here. Okay. Mountains to our east. Oh, I was doing west, I think, like a numpty. Anyway, that works. We were close enough. It was UAE. right up in the tippity top of the UAE as well. Okay, cool. I mean, it didn't look like Dubai, obviously Abu Dhabi, so you know you're pretty much up in and around this area here. Ooh. Is this Greenland? What is this? Google. It's not even a car, is it? Is this Greenland? I'm trying to think where you get this. I don't think this is... I mean, could it maybe even be up here somewhere? I've never seen this Google car, scooter thing. I don't know what you call it. It could be... I didn't think you got that in Iceland. I think this is going to be the tip of Greenland, you know? I reckon we're somewhere over here. Lots of mountains, very snowy. I'm just going to go for it. I don't know. Okay, it was Greenland, but... Oh, goodness. Oh. It was right up in the... Okay, we weren't actually particularly close, but it was Greenland, but it was up here. Okay. Cool. That was a fine guess. Okay, this looks like Eastern Europe, I would say. I can't quite see this. Could this be... I even wonder if this is Poland. Is this the line? So the pedestrian crossing sign in Poland is the only country to have like a line. So rather than having like the dashes that you see in all the other countries, it's just got a line where the person is. I do wonder if it's that one, but I can't really... This tree is just in the completely wrong place. I didn't feel like it was Poland, though. Also, there's not a Polish pole here, so I wonder if this is like a... Hello. You hungry? I'll make this the last round, and then we'll get food, yeah? Yeah? You got a little think? Pickle just came in like, I'm hungry. Speaking of hungry, this could be Hungary. What does it say here? Not sure. Car? I reckon somewhere here. I think I'm going to go on the border between Serbia and Romania. Like there. It was Poland. Okay, so if I move a little bit then. There you go. It was what I thought I could see. So there we go. At least I can teach you something now. You see this line here? Like you will see in other pedestrian crossing signs, they won't have just a line there, but it was Poland. So what I thought I could see was indeed what I could see. It was just the tree was blocking it a little bit, but this is worth knowing. Like if you see this, I think it's the only country. There you go, there's another one of them, is Poland. But I mean, normally you'd see a holy pole in Poland. If I go a little bit further, are any of these poles got holes in? Oh, there you go. Let me go this way. You see this? This pole is normally what you'd see in Poland, is the one with all the holes in. And I like you didn't see that. So that was a difficult round. But yeah, anyway, we did vibe Poland at first, which is fine. Cool. Not the best guess, but we'll move on. Final one here. Oh, this is cool. I mean, so feels very much like Nordic. I suppose that this could be Iceland as well. You see a lot of red barns in Sweden, but you also see them in Norway as well. This feels like it's probably Norway or Sweden. Could be Iceland. I mean, now that I look at the vegetation... This could certainly be Iceland. Maybe more Iceland. Could be Greenland again. Yeah, there's a possibility for sure. Surely not a double Greenland. I actually think I want to go Norway, Sweden tips, like right up here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is... I mean, it could even be like right up here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is Iceland. I mean, they're not too far away from each other, to be honest. I was a double Greenland. No way. Didn't mean to click on that. That's crazy. I think I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've had Greenland. Interesting. That was another Greenland. Crazy round. Okay. That wasn't the best game we've ever had then. Right. Oh, didn't mean to click on that one. Let's click on that one. There we go. Where's my green screen completely messed up now? Do you know what? You can have that one. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully, Bruno Fernandes outscores Haaland. And hopefully, you've enjoyed that. But yeah, if you do want to check out, actually, let me go and grab my channel. If that was your first time watching post-stream and you want to watch more Geoguessr content, then I do have a channel. There's a video going live tomorrow morning. So if you want to check out my video tomorrow morning on my channel, or you want to go and watch the many videos that are already there, please go and subscribe to that. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you as always. Until next time, bye-bye.